Meow.
Meow?
Meow.
So, Petrified Pumpkins is clearly in collusion with Reddit. Oh, wait, are we live?
Oh, God, we're live.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
He also stole my idea. I always told him he should have a podcast named Touching Tips. And he went and did it. But I'm glad that he did. I don't have
if you told him
rivalry
to do
with him
that,
either.
and then he didn't, and then he went and did it, then that's...
I guess it's not stealing. Yeah, no, I told him to do it, and he did it. So he's listened to me for one time in his life.
What's up, Soma Game Cat? Stay warm 420. Polish Paul VR, your PSVR.
How many times have I tell you not to like even recognize
He's here for,
Polish Paul?
For the arguments. RC Winward, JD Meows, Secrets of I gotta get through this, man. She who games with her little monster cat. Meow. Kev Gretz, Joystick Guru, Robert Sullivan. What's up, my dude? Always love to read his comments. He's such a pleasant guy.
So pleasant.
Bobsy's awesome.
Yeah, I saw you guys like making out in the comments. Okay.
Oh yeah, he's good.
I saw. I don't.
Gabe Metal Floor.
It's okay. I condone it. It's okay.
Mr. Musically. I missed somebody. Hold on. Wink Rogers and Duran VR fan. The Game Cat. Something close enough.
I think he should change it to Duran, the Game Cat fan or something. Music playing. Is music playing? I don't think that's the music. Could be wrong. I don't know if I changed it. Boy, I'm not ready for this show. I'll tell you that.
Never ready for anything.
No, so let's just do it. Here we go. This is PSVR GamesCast live. I don't know if that's actually working or not. Hold on.
It's working.
Yeah, it is working. That's good. I'm really happy to see that that's working. This is PSVR GamesCast Live, where we film live every Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, and then we bring it to YouTube live, because that's what live means. As always, I'm Bryan Paul from this channel right here. Without Parole, on the far left is AJ from not only this channel, but also PSVR Underground. What's happening, AJ?
Greetings and salutations.
That doesn't really answer my question, but in the middle...
I'm happy to be alive.
What's happening? He's giving you greetings.
I'm
He's
happy
giving
to
you
be alive
salutations.
today.
That's what's going on.
Okay. And in the center is Dave from Davestation VR.
Hello, folks. How's it going?
Um,
I guess I have to answer that question too, then. How's it going, Dave? Right?
how is it going, Dave?
It's going okay. I got a work thing I got to leave for in about maybe half an hour-ish. We'll see, but I'll try and come back later.
Dave might
And
have
then
to drop off for a second, but then he'll be
later
here.
tonight, I'm excited to try out this bad boy here that I just picked up.
Ooh.
The Sega Genesis Mini. I've heard very good things, but it's not been opened yet. And
Don't let Mr.
definitely
Sonic
wanna
see
try
that.
it.
Yeah.
What's up, Mr. Sonic? Is he out there? I don't see him out there.
He'll be here.
He'll get here eventually. He'll watch the instant replay.
There we go.
I'm actually curious. I never really investigated the Sega Genesis Mini because I feel like I probably have all those games, but I am curious to see what's on it.
It's pretty cool. It's got like twice as many games as the Super Nintendo for roughly the same price, and it's a pretty good cross section of stuff. Like there's some cult classics, there's some major Sega hits you would expect. The only weird thing I've heard is that some people say certain games that are on here need the 6-button controller, and that's like a $20 extra add-on thing.
It's so dumb that they didn't include it. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Well, the Japanese version did, which is weird that they didn't bring it here with the 6-button. But what are you going to do? It's still supposed to be, the emulation is supposed to be top-notch. M2 is the company that did it, and they're widely renowned. So yeah, I'm excited.
Nice.
What's Happy Talk Like a Pirate Day? What is that all about?
I
don't know.
My name is Bryan Paul, and I'm a pirate. I'm missing just as many teeth these days.
Congrats to the EU finally getting Battlewake. I don't know what the holdup was, but
Yeah.
hope they're having a blast.
Congratulations.
There was no hold up. They just said, you know what a great marketing tool would be if we release this on Talk Like a Pirate Day. Brilliant. It's brilliant.
Just make
Survios is
everybody
killing
really
it.
want it.
Yeah. I mean, when you play Battlewake, every day is Talk Like a Pirate Day. It's kind of part of the process.
It is
is
sort
true.
of the
Get in
deal.
the zone.
You guys saw the deal that's going on that Survios is running a contest with Battlewake.
Oh, like a challenge, like a competition or something? Or?
Yeah, man, you got to go to pledgepirateslife.com and pledge something Pirates Life. I don't know. It's go check out the breaking news report and.
Okay.
And you sign up there, and then basically it tracks your username, your account through PlayStation Network, and it's just a community challenge, man. Whoever has the most kills wins like $1,000. It's insane.
Wow, that's pretty good. I mean, watch out for. I would say watch out for Justin. I would say watch out for who's that other guy? Yuki.
Wonder
Super
Rock,
Yuki. That guy's
yeah.
gonna be way up
Yuki,
there.
Diz.
Uncle Murder kept killing me
I'm-
when we were
I'm
playing. I don't know who that guy is.
I wonder it's
Real quick
retroactive.
Shout out to K-Panic, the top 20 game cat. Should be top 5 game cat now, man. Keep
Oh,
up
Brian,
with the times.
you don't have the
No.
sound effects?
No.
And he says,
son of a bitch.
I'm
what's
in
up to
rough
all the
shape today.
parolees? What's
It's
up,
all right.
dude? No Man's Sky update drops. We're going to talk about that. Blood and Truth content. We're going to talk about that. Karts racing and Iron Man soon. Life is good. Life is just peachy, especially when you're not being eaten by dogs.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There's a weirdly specific roast in this chat, Brian. I think you should hear. Secret Sub says, Brian, is that green screen the felt from a pool table?
No, it's just an actual green screen.
All right.
Yeah.
Satisfied that question.
Was that an actual roast? Like that might be the worst roast ever.
I don't know. I thought it was
I don't think
so
that
fun
was-
shit. I thought he was saying, no, you get a janky old green screen or something.
I usually,
Maybe if it was a pool table cover or whatever, then it maybe would have worked. But
maybe. No, I use
not today, guys. Not
I
today.
usually take down the green screen just to have a better background for this, but I've got too many green screen things to do, and I don't want to take it down, put it up, take it down, put it up.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's fine. Whatever. It's all good. Yeah, so Battlewake, make sure you head on over to that website that I totally butchered and sign up for that contest. They're also giving away like T-shirts and stickers and like gift cards and PSN cards and stuff. So there's definitely some very cool. Sorry, Abe Lincoln in the chat just distracted me. He said, when are we going to have a serious discussion about Wild Turkey Hunter?
Can you have a serious discussion about Wild Turkey Hunter? I don't know if that's even possible.
I feel like maybe at some point we need to do like, our top 10 worst PSVR games, and that should probably be on it somewhere.
Yeah, we've been asked. No, that's definitely top 5 material, I think.
Yeah.
Or
That'll be on
bottom
there.
5 or whatever you want to call it.
Right
Oh
on.
man, I just realized I'm gonna have to play all these games for this list. That sucks.
What's that for the worst games?
For the worst games, I'm gonna have to play them all.
No.
Sorry, dude.
Terrible.
Yeah. A little bit of housekeeping before we really get started here. We want to make sure that everyone subscribes to the channel. Make sure you also subscribe to PSVR Underground and Davestation VR. Head on over to their channels. You give Dave some Patreon love.
No, I was just about to close my Patreon, but Brian talked me out of it.
I did. You got to keep forging forward. But if you don't want to support Dave on Patreon, you can totally support us. Patreon.com/withoutparole.
Oh, absolutely.
Games!
Thank you very much. And give us $1 or more every single month. He's got some really rude ass comment from some dude in the comments. Can you guys get grown men begging for $1? I was like, you have no fucking idea how
Well, if
works,
this is
dude.
my fucking full-time
Dude,
job,
yeah,
maybe
right.
I would like to get paid for it. You know,
Like,
something
Man, if
along those
only he
lines.
knew how broke I was.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Like I'm living off of less than I've ever lived off of in my life. I wanted to reach through the comments and literally slap the dude in the face. Instead, I just blocked him from the channel. I was like, you know what? You are not a loyal game cat. You are some dick I don't want to ever hear from again.
Craig T.I. asked in the chat, you guys know if any updates coming out for Batman VR? No, there are no updates coming out for Batman VR that we know about, that we expect. I would expect a sequel on the PS5, if anything, but that's just what
Yeah,
I would say.
I
don't know.
I was thrilled that there was, that the Batman VR were really like, it wasn't just like some offshoot team or whatever. Or like, it was like core Rocksteady team working on that.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. I really do hope that they discovered some love with VR development and continue moving forward with that. All right, so that's I think that's all the housekeeping out of the way, guys. Maybe we should talk about some of the news that we're dealing with here with PlayStation VR. There's a lot of news to talk about.
Yes. I'd love to get your thoughts on a couple things. We're going to start with an interview that came up earlier with PlayStation Asia, interviewing Mr. Shuhei Yoshida himself.
USP.
And they talked about Tokyo Game Show, kind of just following up on all the games they showed, different plans they're doing. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on this, but essentially he mentioned Dreams. Dreams is a highly anticipated game for everyone that's a PlayStation gamer. He said he quoted like saying something like, it's one of his favorite things he's been working on of all time so far. And I can understand. I've played it in the early beta access, and it had amazing like variety of games that people are creating. He talked about how right now they're keeping it in early access so that there's people working on AI, there's people working on levels, different tools in the game, and they have a long way to go. So the key thing that he mentioned though is that he has a 10-year vision for Dreams. Now, obviously, we know the PlayStation 5 is likely coming out next year. So what does that mean to you guys? Do you guys think they're going to keep it in early access until the end of next year? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Dave, you're muted. You're muted. We can't hear you. Like, I was going to just talk over him.
Moving on. No, I'm kidding.
It's nothing. No, still nothing. You were talking just fine. What happened?
Yep.
Okay, well then
somebody cast silence on Dave.
Then here's my thoughts on Dreams until Dave gets his sound working again. I mean, first of all, the creation tools are amazing, right? I mean, like
so deep.
Yeah, right. Deep advanced creation tools have never really been given to the casual game designer ever like this. I'm still waiting to hear Dave talk.
Hello?
There we
Hello?
go.
There you go.
Okay, I don't know. I had to fuck with my settings for a second for some reason.
Right. So this is like some advanced shit going on, and like it seems like there's we've seen like Seraphim 190 like create like Space Harrier in this, and it's pretty unbelievable. Right. So I'm curious to see. Obviously we can talk about Dreams until the end of time, but the real question about Dreams isn't how powerful is it or how long will these creation tools last for. The real question is when are we going to get PlayStation VR support? And I think my answer on that is we're not going to see it on PS4. I think this thing is
really.
I mean,
you think so?
The amount of horsepower this thing must be using to. I mean, I couldn't imagine this working on PSVR at all to begin with. And the fact that they said there was going to be even limited support, I was shocked. So I think it's going to be a PlayStation 5 thing for PSVR. But that's my thought on it. I don't know if.
That's funny. No, I've actually heard that before. You're not the first person to say that. And with him saying it's a 10-year vision with it, I mean that clearly makes sense.
Feels like he's backpedaling a little bit. I mean, it's a nice way of saying we've got a big plan for this game, and so because of that, we might have to backpedal on some of our earlier promises. I think it's a nice kind of like soften the blow statement. I don't know. What are you thinking, Dave? I would.
So I didn't ever have that thought or that consideration that it might wait for PS5, but I guess it makes sense, honestly, when you lay it out like that. So, I mean, I'd be fine waiting that long, just because to me it's a really exciting concept, because I remember back when I first got the Oculus Developers Kit, before there was any commercially available VR stuff, besides like Gear VR or whatever. And it was like the Wild West. Everyone was just making these little prototypes and proofs of concept and like interesting, weird little games. But it was so finicky, like half of them didn't work. Mess with the settings for 20 minutes. And this will be a stable platform where people can just experiment and throw ideas out there, and essentially endless, to just browse through and try stuff out. So it kind of feels like it'll be a stabilized version of that thing, where you get to experience all these crazy new ideas that you haven't seen before. And probably some recreations of stuff you'd love to see in VR haven't seen. So,
PT.
Very excited. Yeah, PT's already been made in Dreams. So gets VR support. That's bonkers.
Yeah, I played it. It's not as scary. Well, this was right after the beta came out. So obviously it was in earliest,
popular ones that was floating
right
around.
And it was early and it was still like pretty good. It wasn't scary yet. I'm hoping they get to that point though, because PT, I've always had this theory that PT was originally supposed to be in VR, and then when all this happened, it got canceled. But I don't know. There's no way to prove that or anything, but I just firmly believe that's what happened with it. That's why it had such a limited control scheme. But that is one of the scariest things I ever played, and I absolutely loved it. Still have a copy of it on a backup hard drive.
You lucky son of a bitch. I've never had a chance to play it, honestly.
Oh, seriously? Yeah, once
I didn't have a PS4, I don't think, when it came out. I was late to the game.
Wow.
Gotcha.
No, I definitely have not gotten rid of.
I played it like 8 times, and then showed it to all my friends and everything. But that's one I'm looking forward to. Even just some of the original creations that these people have made in this game. There's one where you're like driving a Jeep, and you just drive through this beautiful world, and it's kind of like on rails and stuff. But man, it was gorgeous. Just to imagine that in VR. So I'm with Bryan on this one. I think it's going to end up being a PS5 title, or it's going to really hit its stride when PS5 rolls around.
I mean, if that's what it takes to run properly, I'm totally cool with that. I have no problem with that. Honestly.
Yeah.
So.
And the hope, of course, is that, obviously with everything being backward compatible with the PlayStation 4 on PlayStation 5, the hope is that, we finally get PSVR support. And then they just say, oh, and everything is playable in VR. So. By
the way, we need a sound effect for Eric C. Brian, you got a mouth air horn we can
hear?
Wah,
wah, wah. It's so much easier.
Eric C. donated $5 US, and he said, appreciate the reviews. Saved me a lot of money.
Woohoo! Thank you very much, Eric C. Oh, I like how he spells it too. He just uses all the consonants. ERICK.
He's Eric C with a C in Eric.
Lots of C's.
One thing I did forget about is that the Dreams already does have the move support. So you might be able to. I don't know if they ever got it to the point where you can go ahead and start programming stuff with moves. I want to say yes, but I don't know. But
I think it's
really excited.
You can create with the moves. I don't know if you can play with them.
No, probably not. But that's just going to be awesome. But
knows.
Really awesome interview. You guys should definitely go check it out on PlayStation Asia and go watch that interview. Really good stuff from the man, Shuhei. He's awesome. Love to hear what he says all the time, and give us little tidbits of what to expect and stuff.
Yep. And
Dreams.
Yeah,
Dreams going to be exciting.
We've got AJ and I came up with a 12-month plan to have Shuhei Yoshida be a presenter on the 2020 PlayStation VR Awards show.
A 12-month plan.
12-month plan.
Buttering him up now, sending him chocolates and stuff.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Now and then.
No, don't send him chocolates. Send him fried chicken. He's crazy. He's awesome.
Does he love fried chicken?
Send him. He's always posting this like Tennessee barbecue place on Twitter, and I was like, he was like, no, this isn't a game, blah blah blah. But he's like showing it, and I was like, but does it have PSVR support? And he actually responded and was like, we have an extra spicy option for you. And I was just like, nice. So he's quick, man. He's witty guy, good guy.
Right on. Hey, listen, I don't know if you guys mind me derailing the show a little bit. But I am a little curious if we can talk about a video that went up this morning. It was.
Sure. Have we seen it? Have we all seen it?
I don't know if you've seen it, Dave. But AJ and I have definitely seen it. It was the top 5 aim games.
Oh, I didn't watch it yet, but AJ called me and told me what he was thinking beforehand, so I got the gist of it.
I got Dave's input when Bryan was passed out.
Oh, excellent!
After being awake for 35
so thank you
hours
for your help on that. But yeah, I would love to talk about that. It was a really fun list to make, and I really appreciate all the comments, and it's really interesting to see some of the input. I love hearing the feedback of, hey, why wasn't this game there? Or, hey, I love that this game was there. And this one, there's definitely some division in some of the games, particularly the number 5 and 4 slot, but it was a lot of fun to make.
I would like to say that even though I was the editor of this video, I had no say in the top 5 list. AJ was like, "What about this game?" I was like, "You just make the list, man. Like, this is your list. This is your thing." I was like,
"Oh, so you're just pushing this on me now?" And
absolutely.
You're not going to stand by it at all. Do you disagree with anything? Do you disagree with stuff on the list? Because I kind of asked you, and you could have said, "Hey, what about this?"
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with it. I think it's a great list, and I think that when you talk about games that utilize the aim controller very well. Right, like because Arizona Sunshine is a decent game, but I feel like it doesn't utilize the aim controller as well as it should. Same with Doom VFR. It's like you're running around with the aim controller and you get this thing sticking out of the side of your head. You're like, that doesn't really utilize the controller the way it should.
For everyone that asked, yeah, I played all these games again before making this list, and I can't get over that hand sticking to the face in Doom. The original plan was to have Doom and Arizona Sunshine. But I just ran into a couple bugs with Arizona Sunshine, and the aim support itself was kind of wonky and janky, and that's kind of the overall game. Like, I like the
wonky
game.
And janky. Yeah.
I really do like the game. I've had fun with it, but I've never been able to finish it because I always run into some kind of bugs and stuff. So between that and then Doom, Doom I also love, but I beat it the first time with the moves, and then most people like it with the DualShock 4. So when it comes,
I'm a DualShock 4 guy.
And of course, I'm a move guy. I want to play it the way it was meant to be played. Before they added the whole full locomotion system. Sorry, there's a shitload of sirens on my end.
Yeah,
it's just nonstop. I'm waiting for something to burn down, like my building or something. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, guys.
Okay, so just a heads up. I did get that email saying it's time for me to get on the call.
Okay.
I can act like I didn't see it for the next 5 or 10 minutes, probably.
Okay.
And it won't be a big deal.
Cool,
but
man.
I do gotta bounce.
All right.
Once we
All right, go watch that. Go watch that video.
Convo.
Yeah, I will say that I would have put D-Day on this list.
That's the one that gets me,
Oh,
man. And the
yeah.
problem, the only reason, this was the most confusing thing, or this was the most like internal struggle that I had was D-Day, because when I went and played it, there was like nobody online. But from a game design standpoint, it's magnificent. Like, I mean, not only the aim, but everything. But even if we're just talking about the aim, controlling the tanks, controlling, the guns, the movement, everything. Trust me, I'm definitely thinking about that. But
that was my.
What the hell is that?
It's just a cat meowing.
Oh
and that was our shout out for Judge Deadpool's Games Cat for with these Australian $5 saying morning meow in parentheses. Thank you very much. That was the worst sound effect ever. I apologize, but thank you so much for the tip. We appreciate you.
It's a good time to start talking about this too, because Reggie from Strange Game Studio says
Yes,
I would have put it on the list too.
Yeah.
That's such a tough one, man. That is such a tough one, because like I said, the online player base kind of fluctuates, and more times than not, it's been hard to find a game, and I can't, no matter how much I love a game. Well, first of all, this shows you how unbiased this list is, how trying to be unbiased it is. But you can schedule stuff and schedule meetups with the game cats and stuff. There's people saying there's certain times. But just when I start a game and just want to play it, there's not always a time frame that I can set up to play with other people and stuff. I want to sometimes I don't want to have to count on other people to do it. But
yeah,
it burns me though. It really does, because like I said, from a design standpoint, it's magnificent.
Yeah.
And it really deserves it. And I truly believe that Honor and Duty is going to be something really big here to come pretty soon. And I can just tell you, it will get its spotlight nonstop at some point.
I mean, it's very hard for any game to kind of hit that sweet spot where people are actively playing it online if it's a PSVR multiplayer game, especially without crossplay. There are very few games that have successfully achieved that. And for now, it seems like Battlewake is, but I don't think it'll last forever. But we'll see.
No, Battlewake is really fun, but it does have kind of a short lifespan.
We'll see. I mean, but when a game relies on, having to schedule with people, on the one hand, it sucks that you can't just hop in and play a game, but it's sort of the understood, kind of flip side of a multiplayer game on PSVR. Like, we all know that's the case for anything but Firewall.
It's not the game's fault. Community's just really small right now. So
yeah, even Wipeout doesn't have active players.
Right. I mean,
so
yeah.
It's like, what are you going to do? If
Wipeout,
anybody playing?
Lots of games. Unfortunately, that's a hurdle we're still trying to get over when it comes to multiplayer VR games.
Reggie says the free-to-play Battle Royale will be live in a few weeks. Should be a lot more players on then. I totally agree with that, because if it's free-to-play, everyone's going to download that. So, good call.
There will be more lists, so we'll see how it evolves. I plan to. These lists are going to be every week. We're going to have one list every Thursday. So hope you guys are liking them so far. It seems like it.
To the detriment of my sleep schedule, the one every Thursday. Nice. Yeah, actually, I'm really looking forward to. The free-to-play Battle Royale, because Battle Royale is my favorite mode in pretty much any game. And the fact that no one was playing it on D-Day since day one, I was like, oh man, this sucks. This is the one I want to play, and there's never anyone in here. So I'm going to be really happy to see people playing that again.
Yeah.
All right,
It's a tricky one.
We should probably move on. What's the next news story?
All right, I got to ask you guys a question. Brian.
Yes.
Do you like RPGs?
Yes, I do. I like
Davestation.
RPGs.
Do you like RPGs?
Yes, I've been.
GameCast, do you like RPGs? We are going to talk about an RPG. Unlit Games has been providing. I didn't prepare that at all.
We can tell.
Oh yeah. Unlit Games has been posting developer updates for Redemption's Guild. Lilin, I hope you're in the chat watching. He's been talking about this game for like over a year. I've been following this game for a year, and it's essentially a 1 to 4 player RPG that's going to be pretty. They're supposed to be pretty big, and they've been working on it nonstop for the last year. And when I first saw it, it looked like kind of like Rec Room, and it looked very like basic. They're starting to get more towards like more detail, more like fleshed out game stuff. So essentially, Mike Leonard has been the main developer who's been doing that. It should be going into early access soon. They actually have signups for all you PCVR guys. There's an ambassador thing that you can sign up for, and essentially they'll give you early access and a couple other things. So do check that out on their website over at unlitgames.com if you're interested. But so they've talked about different things like, tons of loot, and all of the all the armor is actually just going to be cosmetic, but there's different cool looking cosmetic armor. And then there's going to have these things called some kind of point system where you upgrade your defense, attack, stuff like that. There's knights, mages. I don't know about anyone else. I had a buddy that got me into World of Warcraft at one point. And I know from the outside looking in, it's like World of Warcraft. But if you actually play that game, it's pretty badass and pretty expansive. And there's a lot to do in that game. And there was a hell of a community behind it. And so I'm hoping, I know probably my dudes, Just Incredible and Wonder Rob and all them, Eliminator will be interested in roaming around in this. But so in their recent update, they talked about how they scrapped their AI system, that they want their combat to be more flashy and feel good and stuff like that, more fun, basically. And essentially, they hired this guy named Liam. I don't think they said his last name, but he's got a background in Rockstar Games and worked on Red Dead Redemption 2, Criterion, Ubisoft, all these AAA developers. And so he's come in and they've been revamping the AI system for the enemies. And I'll tell you one thing that I think is really cool that they mentioned was that they're trying to make everything flow. Like, how when we were talking about Astrobot, how the menu systems, everything, the UI, it flows together. It's all like got VR in mind in the way it's designed. And so they're trying to come up with something like that as well. And I'm really, really excited to get my hands on this one. I don't think, I mean, we still got some time before it comes out, but I know everybody, myself included, has been wanting some RPGs in VR. And this looks like the next one to keep your eye on besides Nostos. Well, actually, Nostos is not an RPG. It's just open world. But this is going to be the next RPG to keep your eye on for sure.
All right, guys. I can't comment on that because I have to go. That was a nice monologue there with a lot of detail. But yeah, no, I got to bounce. So hopefully I'll be back later, guys. Have a good rest of the show if I don't see you. But I think I'll be back towards the end. So save me.
All right, man. Hope to see you sooner rather than later.
Later, guys.
All right.
Oh, hey, it's just a big picture of AJ right now. Let's see if I can't fix that. Hey,
Yeah,
it's both of
please
us
fix
again. All right, let's see. Let me get rid of these names here, make it look kind of prettier. Boom. That's not it. Is that it? I don't know. Let's try that. There we go. They're gone. All right.
Nick Mulo was a wild guy. Nice.
Yeah, so just looking at the footage so all the footage that they've really been showing off for this thing have been kind of mixed into these like developer diary sort of things. So there's no like specific trailer, and just kind of watching it as it goes by. It's got kind of a clean look, like some flat shaded polygons and stuff. But man, like when you just have like this big expansive, world to explore. Thinking about doing that with a few other people, like Fantasy Star Online style, would be amazing. I don't know, like I can't think of something I'd really even want more than a game in this style. In the art style, despite the fact that it's a bunch of flat shaded polygons, there's so many, like it just seems like they really like brought this art style as far as they could, with the restrictions that they have. I just hope that we see it soon, because I feel like it's been in development for a really long time.
It has. I wouldn't expect it really soon, but I would think sometime between now and maybe this time next year, we will probably at least have it to some degree or another. I don't think it's going to be a PS5 title, but yeah, I'm really excited to play this one. You can play it single player, like I said. There's going to be classes, but anybody that played dungeon crawlers, different MMORPGs, this isn't an MMO. But the other thing they said that is they do plan to expand it in the future. So it's going to start as a 1 to 4 player RPG, and then they're going to introduce later, after early access, factions. So there's going to be like 2 different factions. And again, referencing WoW, there was the Horde and the Alliance, and then they're going to use that to incorporate PvP. So really excited to see where this game goes. Make sure you guys follow them, Unlit Games, and check them out, and just keep an eye on this game. Of course, we'll be providing updates here as well, so you can find it from us too. But yeah, just wanted to give them a shout out and just keep up the great work, and really excited that things seem like they're going well over there, and hope for the best.
Right on. All right, moving on. What's next on the docket, buddy?
We had a surprise announcement about a conference that is coming up, and that conference is going to be the next State of Play. And I think we said before we were expecting one between last month and November, sometime in between then. So key thing to note, they did specifically say that this isn't going to be revealing anything PS5 related. This is all PS4, and no plans for that. We're expecting maybe that in February next year. But the press conference is going to be about 20 minutes this time, a little bit longer, and they said it's going to be jam-packed with stuff. You excited?
So hold on a second. First and foremost, I really wanted to get the video playing here while I talked about it, because I think, let's get that, and here we go. All right, there we go. Now it's where it should be.
Nice.
So it's got all these people running, right? This is like, so I thought this was such a strange way to announce it. It's like, here's a trailer, sort of, with a bunch of people running like into a date.
It's very, yeah.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people at the very end join the 9. Okay, so it's like it's like hundreds, like if not thousands of people all running together, different colored shirts, and they form this date. And then there's 5 little stragglers that kind of tack themselves on to the end. And I was like, what is the significance of that? They're saying they're not going to talk about PlayStation 5. I think that this is a hint that they're going to actually talk about it.
Maybe they may be hinting at it. They may be doing it. And by the way, I'm going to try to get off work for that day and join you live. And we'll do it just like we did E3 and everything else. And that's next Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's literally just a few days away. It's 5 days away.
5 days away.
Shout out to Wolfie Smith, the Game Cub. Wah, 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 wah. I don't know. I'm just making stupid noises now. He said, hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Thank you very much for the donation, sir.
Also, what's up, everyone else joining? But yeah, I'm excited. This one. You think they're going to show any PSVR this time?
I think so. I think this is the perfect place to show off some PSVR stuff. Even if it's just like, oh, here's your Iron Man date.
Right.
Here's the dates for like some late 2019 things. Especially like we've got, we've been talking about Folia Dear Father, and how perfect is this to say, for all of you horror game fans that have a PlayStation VR headset, here are some dates for some scary from scary fucking games that are coming out next month. Like, and that Folia would line up perfectly for that. I don't think they're going to talk like a whole lot about, if they do any PlayStation 5 stuff, then amazing, but I'm doubting it's going to be a lot, if any. I think this is the perfect way to kind of like outline the rest of the year for themselves, because they do one of these every couple months. So like, why would they go much further with it than they have to? So I think this is just outlining the rest of the year, and of course October being part of that.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't expect indie titles, many indie titles to be on this thing. I think they usually save this for Iron Man, No Man's Sky, Blood and Truth, Dreams, stuff like that. So,
I mean, after the first state of play, I get the very first state of play was like all PlayStation VR. So
right, but the games that they listed on there, they didn't talk about some of the like they didn't say Immortal Legacy,
No, but they did give us dates for like Falcon Age and Table of Tales and a bunch of smaller games. So I really think that this is the possibilities are pretty much endless, to be honest.
Yeah, I think something smaller, like maybe Golem. I don't know, maybe some new.
I think Golem is a shoo-in because they haven't really shown any new footage from Golem in such a long time. For a PlayStation VR title, where else are they going to show that off? Right, this is where they're going to show it off. They're not going to spend any marketing money on that. This is perfect.
Yeah, but I'm hoping, I'm with you in that. I think we'll maybe get like at least one announcement. I really hope so. If not, we'll just kick back and enjoy the show. But obviously, I think this is going to be more focused on what's that zombie game that I can't remember the name for some reason.
I mean, there's Contagion VR Outbreak.
No, the flat game. The second one, the sequel.
Dying Light 2.
No,
I'm like thinking zombie games.
The one with the clickers. I can't think of the name.
Are you talking about Last of Us?
Last of Us 2. Thank you. I'm thinking Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, stuff like that. So I think it's going to be focused on that. Maybe throw in one VR game. They also said there's going to be a new layout, so that could be cool.
Yeah, new format. Yeah, I'm excited to see that.
But yeah, so hopefully I can get off work for that. I think I can actually. So
don't you love that I was just like, oh, of course we're going to stream it, but I didn't really. I was like, I don't know what day of the week this is. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's a state of play, and if I do one thing here without Parole, it's fucking a live stream state of play. It's like everything else is secondary. State of play.
You will definitely be live streaming it. I don't know. I think I can join you, but we shall see. Hopefully, a lot of the cats can join us too.
Yeah, it might just be me. It might just be me and you. Hey, maybe Dave. Maybe Dave can do it. I have no idea. I didn't ask anybody. I was just like, of course we're live streaming it.
But yeah, I really hope to see something good. Some more. Like you said, I think of all things, I would really like to see more of Iron Man, because we've seen that same tutorial and intro scene so many times. I'd love to get more info on that. And boom, release date.
Yeah, release date's all we want, man. Like, maybe they'll show off Gorn and like. and because obviously like Gorn is
I just don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I feel like if they do show Gorn, it's going to be like in a quick sizzle reel, like when they were showing off all those dates for Table of Tales and Falcon Age and Mini Mech Mayhem,
like,
right?
Boom, boom, boom,
right.
Boom.
It was like here's 5 seconds of footage of Gorn, here's a release date. Here's 5 seconds of footage of Contagion, here's a release date. Like I think
that's how they would do it. That's how they would do
it. But how amazing was it on the first state of play when we're watching game after game after game after game with like release date. We're like, oh my god, it's all fucking happening. I mean, it was great, and I want that again, and hopefully they've learned their lesson, like to kind of satisfy everybody, you got to mix in the non-VR stuff. But I feel like they're slowly coming to grips with what state of play means, right? Because it's like the first couple times they did it, they were like, oh, is it we're doing PlayStation VR now, we're doing no PlayStation VR now, let's balance. I think they're trying to figure out like what their voice is through this medium, and I think they're slowly getting there. And I think, and for some reason, I think this little trailer that I've watched 1,000 times now kind of proves that. They're like hinting.
I gotta look at that again. Yeah, no, and I don't think you're the only person I've heard today mention that there's some hidden meaning in this. So we'll see. I don't know.
I feel like if I squint my eyes, a 3D image will appear with all these like people on the screen, like.
Try to cross your eyes a little.
All right, but make sure everyone tune in on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be streaming that here on the channel, and you guys can all watch it together. It'll be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, what's our next news story, AJ?
All right. I want to touch base real quick on an update that I got from Firepoint about Saber, and essentially we did it, cats. They're going to have, that game has had some struggles because of the lack of player base, as we know that is a problem with VR right now, especially for, smaller games that are just, but anyways, essentially last time we talked about them, I said, hey, they reached out to me. They said they want to add a couple color schemes, and basically, I gave them 3 schemes, and I gave them the God Cannon, I gave them the Without Parole, and gave them the Game Cat. And just wanted to rep our community, because we have the best community ever. And essentially, they responded today and gave me a picture and said, here are the concepts for your 3 color schemes. And I was like, holy crap. Like, so it is an honor for myself and us to be a part of this game in some way or another. It's really cool to see that.
Is it an honor?
It's an honor for me, man. It's a big deal for me. I know you're big time Bryan, but I'm small potatoes God Cannon.
Shut the fuck up.
You're too good for us now. I know. No, but no, but this is the thing. So I'm going to actually post right now in the Discord. Make sure you go join our Discord, and I'm going to post the concept that they have.
Oh, it's been on the screen the entire time.
Oh, well, I'm going to, I want to get your Game Cat's feedback. I want you guys to be a part of this too and help name the Game Cat colors and the Without Parole colors. Hell, even mine, I don't care. But yeah, definitely give feedback, and they're gonna be adding this to the next patch. So hopefully the next patch has some AI in it, which would be really cool.
Did you, by any chance, have you played this game since it added DualShock 4 support?
I have not. I tried to, but there was nobody playing, so I couldn't.
I hate that about this game, that you can't even like jump into an arena and practice.
It's a problem, man. It's very much a problem. But like I said, that aside, I was enjoying the game. Yeah. We've had games like this one, and just about every VR game where we've had to, except for Firewall, where we've had to make community events, do some kind of catnip cup, something. And because I actually really enjoyed this game, and I love the style of it. But yeah, so hopefully we can gather some cats and go check out these colors when the update hits.
Yeah, I'm curious to know. I'm also curious to know what else they're adding, in the next update. Hopefully they'll fix some of the complaints that we've had.
They've listened to all of our feedback, including if they ask me for another color scheme, I'm going to give them the no Kev Gretz color scheme. It's going to be like his colors, red, white, something. And
you should give him, you should give him pool table green.
The last feedback we gave the pool table green. The last feedback we gave them, a lot of Kev stuff was in there, like having like little sport modes and stuff where you jumping through rings and just little fun mini games. So excited to see where this goes. Obviously, don't know anything yet, but as soon as we do, we will let you know. So thank you for humoring me on that. I just wanted to share that with you guys because that's really cool. You don't get that opportunity very often. So
consider yourself humored.
Yeah, so that's it for Saber for now. We will get back to that once we get the next update.
Yeah. Maybe we will. All right. Okay, what's next?
All right. So is that all the news already?
Oh my God. Is that all the news already? Well,
I'm just used to having like 2 hours of news.
There's a shit ton of updates that happened.
Yeah. So we have a lot of updates to get through. Let's go ahead and talk about the, we'll try to save this one for Dave. So let's talk about the catch and release update.
So while Dave's not here, we can talk about fishing.
Yes.
Nice.
This is a game that I have taken so much flack for putting on the top 20, but I don't care because they continue to add these amazing updates to it. And, I get it. You're not into fishing. That's not my problem. It's a good game.
I'm not into fishing. I love this game.
Well, there you go. I know Justin and stuff was backing me up, but this game, I think what I love about it is the wildlife. Like, I think if you're just a fan of nature and wildlife and stuff, that's really the other 50% of this game for me. So they added this night time update. The last one included storms, and I got to check it out for a little bit. And man, I honestly, it was kind of hard to fish because I was sitting there just enjoying being in the middle of a storm, and just letting it in. And I usually don't like storms very much, but I was really relaxed and was just chilling there. They've also added new bait, new fish. There was like some cool, colorful looking fish that they've added, new hats, and lots of new little things to mess with. So good job on them for keeping this game going.
Yeah, the second I dropped, this is all my gameplay footage from earlier today that we're watching.
Gloves.
Yeah, second I dropped in, I bought myself a nice set of gloves, and then I bought the sleep mask, and the sleep mask is what you buy, you put it on, and then it transitions from day to night, and then vice versa. And I will say that the one thing I don't like about the sleep mask is that it pops up with like the loading circle when you do it. I was like, it could have just faded to black for it, because it's literally a 2-second load screen. I was like, why didn't you just fade to black when I put the thing on, and then unfade to daytime or nighttime?
Right.
It could have been more seamless. And I will say that I like the way the nighttime looks, but there's something wrong with the scenery, right? It's like this dark night sky with the clouds and the stars and everything. And then there's this weird dullness, this weird like almost grayness to like the forest or the mountains or whatever it is that's like adorning the shore, and it's just and something seems wrong about it. Like it actually kind of looks right in this footage here, but when I felt like when I was in the game, I was like, something doesn't look quite right here with the lighting. But what I was thrilled about was that while I was like, all right, I'm just gonna fish, nighttime fishing. And I'm like, I wish it was daytime, so maybe I could get maybe a storm would roll in or something. And then I look, and like suddenly like it starts drizzling, like there's some like droplets in the water, and I was like, oh, it storms at night too. so I was sitting there in the dark in a storm fishing. And man, I had like this epic fish on the line. It was like this 5-minute battle with this fish, and I was like, "This is great! I'm capturing the footage right now. It's going to be this ginormous fish. It's going to be amazing." And then, like after 5 minutes, I'm being real relaxed about it, right? Like taking my time and being like, "I don't care if this takes all day. I'm getting this fucking fish." And and then boom, the line pops up and he gets away. Yep. It's like, oh, that's so infuriating.
You have to remember to like, when you not only reel but like yank them in a little bit, and then once they get really close to the boat, then you just go for it. Especially but if they start charging away, then you let go. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Did you notice the glowing bait, the new glowing bait? Yeah. So they have some kind of new glowing bait for some new creatures. There's like new eels and stuff. So lots of really cool stuff, and just the wildlife. I got so distracted trying to do all this stuff, because like there's like I'm like sitting there, and it's like, oh, there's a moose staring right at me, or like, hey, I'm sitting there minding my own business fishing, and a fox comes and just chills next to me, and I was like, wow, like I just love this game, man. It's so cool.
Yeah. Did you see was it a fox? Is that what they added to it, or a wolf? They added a new.
I heard there was a wolf. I didn't see the wolf yet. So I saw lots of things.
I saw it, right, but it was nighttime, so I only saw the silhouette of it. Like it was just like there on the shore, and I was like, man, I'm like, I want to switch to daytime. I want to get my camera out, and I was like, I just couldn't do it in time, and he was gone. So I still haven't seen him fully. I've just seen this silhouette.
Right.
But it was cool. I was like, oh, there was never an animal in this location before, so it was kind of cool to see it.
Yeah, just me being the big fan of exploration, that's kind of part of it, is like, what can I discover next on this lake? And I actually agree with RC Wimward saying, it could use another location or two.
Sure.
I think that's what would take the game to the next level. Like if they I really pray that they make a catch and release sequel, and here's this lake, and then there's canyons or something with like crazy clear. I don't know if you've seen like some locations like that where the water is like this crazy turquoise blue, or ice fishing or something. Like I think to really take the game to the next level, add some different, just 3 to 5 locations or something, which for the amount that they cram into these is actually a lot. But I'm really hoping to see more, hopefully like some PS5 title or something. But
what they've done here though, is, I remember when this came out, I was like, man, if they just keep supporting this with like every month or two they throw a weather effect or some new fish or some new things to buy, then I'm going to be happy. And they're killing it, man. Like, that's exactly what they're doing. They're giving us a reason to go in every couple of months and keep playing it, and I think that's great. I don't think RC Windward says maybe in the next update, and I was like, I don't think so. I think we're going to keep seeing these like small little additions, and then
little things,
and then Catch and Release 2 is when we're going to see like a bunch of new locations or like some real huge improvements. Like, I mean, I want to upgrade my fucking boat, man. Like, I want to buy a motorboat, right? So
I do want a motor on the thing, yeah. That would be really nice.
I want to have like I want to be able to upgrade like Monster of the Deep, right? Monster of the Deep allowed you to upgrade like your reel, your rod, your line, like everything. And so like I want to be able to do all of that, but in Catch and Release, a good fishing game. So hopefully that they've taken all that in and they'll hopefully they're looking at making a sequel. But it's awesome that they've spent so much time and energy. Really adding to what we already have.
Yeah, and nobody even asked for it either. They're just doing it. Like, yeah. I mean, how cool is that?
And I mean, I had this like weird realization today where when I was putting together the breaking news report, I was like, dude, 5 games in the last like 2 days have had significant updates.
Lots of updates.
Totally free. And just like, so it's like you've already spent your money, and now they're just delivering more and more content, and I just don't see that happening, in a lot of other places like PlayStation VR. It's like it seems like PlayStation VR developers are really committed to the community, and I think that's great.
Ooh, Reaper says Catch and Release Ocean Edition. That would be cool. Decepticon, says New Lakes. Frowny Game Cat says multiplayer would sell it for me. Multiplayer, yeah, that's, I like being isolated. Usually you're the one that's like, I like being isolated in VR games. But this game, I actually really like being isolated. But I could see it being a lot of fun. A couple people hanging out on a boat, like fishing and stuff.
Yeah, couple boats.
It'd be...
Everyone's got their own boat.
It would be. It would be.
You could have
really
boat races.
Cool.
I'm going to race you to the other side. I'm going to race you to the waterfall. It's going to be great. I don't know what I'm doing. All right.
But yeah, but good stuff. I also almost saw the plane for the first time. I heard it like.
You've never seen the plane?
I was like, the plane. No, I haven't seen it yet.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my god, I hear it. It's happening. And then it just like slowly faded away. And I was like, oh, one day I'll see that damn plane.
Wow. All right. Well, let's talk about another game that got an update.
Okay. Angry Birds.
That works for me.
Isle of Pigs. And you know what? Why I'm really excited about this one is because I love Halloween. I love October. I love the fall.
Boy, did you join the right channel?
Yes, I did. And even like, you don't know how excited. I've never played an Angry Birds game before. Besides, actually, the second one was the first one I ever played. That's not a traditional Angry Birds game. I played through this entire game just to get to the spooky levels.
Spooky.
So, but yeah, it's actually not bad. Like, this is my first Angry Birds like experience that I'm sharing here. So, the mechanics, everything, like, it's a lot of fun. I'm sure I'm the last person on earth that knows this, but it's actually pretty fun, pretty good mechanics, great graphics, sound effects are funny, but it kind of got boring after a little bit. Like, okay, like it's just this the entire time.
Right.
And they try to mix in some new things, so I can see why it was a mobile game, because it's like, it makes sense. It's something you play for 5 minutes, you drop it, you play for another 5 minutes, you come back. But yeah, pretty decent game actually. A little surprised, but I was really just excited for this Halloween update. And that's it.
Yeah, when they first dropped the game, they were like, "Oh, and more levels coming." But I was like, but as a mobile developer, it seems like microtransactions are the name of the game for mobile developers. And so I was like, okay, more levels incoming, but you didn't really tell us if we were gonna have to pay for them or not. And so we all just sort of assumed we were gonna have to with it, but like didn't want to, really admit that. Because if they caught wind that maybe we'd pay for them, they'd probably make us pay for them. So when they just dropped and they were like, "Oh yeah, here you go. Here's the 13 that the other VR headsets already have, and here's 13 new ones, and then by the way, 26 more on the way. I was like, oh, fucking awesome. That's really cool. So they're doubling the size of the game for free. So next time it's on sale, you guys should pick it up.
Yeah, that's insane. 26 levels, because this update has 13 levels, and I didn't actually play a lot of them yet. I spent most of the time just unlocking it, but I was just so happy to have them. And it's still a kids game kind of thing, and kind of goofy and whatnot. But
it's fun. Anytime I'm playing a level and I just can't get it, I'm jumping from like spot to spot, examining it from all angles. Like if you let yourself, you can really get into this and be like, what's
really?
I think so. But at the same time, like, it's exactly what you said. It's like, yeah, okay, it's
it kind of wears off, but it was surprising at first. I was like, this is actually pretty fun. Like, this works well in VR. The tracking was really good. When you aim the slingshot, it fires where it's supposed to go, and they make goofy noises. But yeah, just by the end of it, I was like, okay, like I've seen all of it.
Yeah, you don't want to play. You don't want to play for hours, man. But if you want to drop in for like 20 minutes and like you really like get 3 stars on a couple levels, then it's a lot of fun. So
yeah.
All right.
Then.
So that happened today, unexpectedly too. We didn't know this was coming. It was really nice that they just kind of dropped it on us. But yeah, good stuff. All right, what else we got?
You know what it is? It reminded me that Halloween and October are on the horizon, and that's what I think the best part of this update was for me.
Yeah, I mean it's sort of like a soft transition, right? It's like it's because it's not scary, but it's like Halloween themed. It's the perfect like soft transition over to the new season, to the Halloween season, to scary games. Man, I just really hope we see a lot of scary games on the way. Like I don't want October to come and go without we didn't get any new scary VR games. That would be.
I know it's not scary, but I'm still excited for Carly and the Reaper Man. It's kind of scary themed, but yeah, like you said, Folia, something else. I really hope we get hit hard with a couple really scary games next month. Would be awesome. And then it's gonna be a busy month next month, man. Busy month.
I don't want to think about it. I'm stressing out. We get the award show. We got all sorts of stuff going on, and I'm
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. All right, bud. Let's talk about some more updates that happened this week.
Okay. Another awesome game, which you did a breaking news on, actually. Blood and Truth got an update, and there is something that I was not expecting this. I don't think anybody was expecting this.
Yeah, how out of the blue, just totally fucking random was this?
Well, we knew that there was going to be a hard mode added, and that actually is what interested me the most, was going back and playing this game on New Game Plus.
Yeah.
I got to dive pretty deep into it last night, and yeah, it's the hard mode is pretty fun. The one problem though is that you still can't skip the cutscenes. So it's like I think the cutscenes, the facial animations, all this stuff is really great, but I don't want to watch it or sit through it all again. And that's a big problem that a lot of people have with this game. It's like the only one of the few knocks on it is sitting through the cutscenes. And, I got to agree, like, just give me, especially since I've beaten the game, give me an option to skip it afterward. If you want to make me sit through it the first time, I can understand. But not every single time. But that being said, the challenge is nice. You basically, they're a little bit more aggressive. Their accuracy is a little bit better. And yeah, I died a couple times, but it was a lot of fun. The other part was the aim support, like we said, and that's the crazy one. But yeah, they added aim support to challenges. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was. How did you feel like the aim support was implemented? Did you feel like it worked pretty well?
It's okay. That's the thing. With these challenges, I love the idea that there is challenges and all this. However, the fact that it's just shooting targets kind of takes away from it a little bit. It's not as exciting as doing this. The aim implementation works for, I want to say, about 50% of the challenges, because some of them, a lot of them are dual wielding challenges. So it's really weird what they've done. It took me 5 minutes to figure out like just how to shoot both guns and how to reload both of them.
It's right. Why wasn't reloading easier? I felt I was so limited on time when I had a chance to check it out, and every single time I had to reload, I was like jamming on buttons. I was like, I thought this button did it last time. No, it's not doing it this time. What the fuck's going on? Yeah.
Yeah. So X reloads your right hand, and then the L2 or whatever L1 reloads your left hand. But I don't like dual wielding with an aim. I don't think there's a single game that really has pulled that off to where I'm like, oh, this feels natural. I think the closest is Borderlands, but that's not dual wielding. That's just a two-handed weapon. But yeah, so the challenges where you use pistols, little Uzis, stuff like that, wasn't crazy about it. It's so complicated. It's like it's doing so many things at once. And then, but the shotgun, the machine, the assault rifles were pretty good. They weren't bad at all. You do have to like really stand up. I was like sitting down. I was missing everything. I was like, screw this. I stood up and I like really got into the gun and looked down the sights and stuff. It was much better. Then there's the skeet shooting that they added. And this is another, new challenge that they added. And they did some cool little twists with it. There's regular skeet shoot. And then there's like endurance where you just keep going. I got to tell you, it's kind of fun doing skeet shoot from the top of a building.
Yeah, agreed.
And looking down on a city. That's not. I've done like skeet shooting before. I've never done it on top of a building like that. So that part I really liked. But again, it's not something I could see myself playing more than once or twice, and then being done with it. Like,
here's why I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the implementation of the game support for one reason only, and that's because when the game came out, everyone was like, "Oh, this needs aim support," or not everyone, but some hardcore aim fanatics. This needs aim support, and I was like, not really. It's a dual wielding game. You got a gun in each hand. That means you need two move controllers. Done and done.
If it was built from the ground up,
totally
for the aim,
yep,
absolutely. But
absolutely.
No. Not the way it was designed.
And then, but the fact is that but I even said the same thing about Borderlands. I was like, it's not designed for that. It's like it's not designed for the aim. And then when I actually played it with the aim control, I was like, I was fucking wrong. Like I don't mind being wrong when it's
amazing,
done so well, right?
Yeah.
So so what excites me about this is that it means the London studio is interested in the aim controller. That's what excites me about this. I don't care what they've done with it, and what they kind of try to shoehorn into the existing game of Blood and Truth. What excites me is what they're gonna do next with it. They're like, hey, we figured out how to use the aim controller, and now we're fucking around with it, and here's our test run. Hope you guys enjoy it. I can't wait to see what they do next.
The other cool thing that they did with the skeet shoot though is I'm not a puzzle guy. But the puzzle one was actually good. Pretty fun. Like it was cool. It's hard as hell, but that's actually where I got fed up and had to stand up. Was playing the puzzle one because I'm like, God, I already hate puzzles enough. But doing that, and then there was actually another skeet shoot with it was called like the action skeet shoot, where you're running around, you're shooting targets that are popping up, and when you shoot a certain amount, then it makes a skeet shootout. That's just like the or a disc, whatever. That's just like the puzzle one as well, where you shoot the targets first, and then it makes it, and you have to like do the color combination, shoot the right color of clay pigeon that it launches out. But yeah, it's definitely challenging. It's a fun challenge, but again, just not something that has like a lot of longevity behind it.
Yeah, the one I got stuck on, I couldn't get myself to stop playing was the endurance one, because you get the 3 lives, and you lose a life, and you're like, no, I can't lose the life, and then, but if then you get 3 in a row and you get that life back, you're like, it's the perfect balance of not risk reward, but it's you feel like you really screwed up when you lose a life, but then you feel amazing when you get one back. It's like, I'll probably spend a lot of time with that. Hey, just real quick, your arch enemy, the Dead Game Cat, says, any news on Alvo? No, not currently, but according to Reddit, But if you,
we are not saying this right now. This is Reddit.
According to Reddit, we have the exclusive coverage coming up. So
this is Reddit.
Yeah,
not us.
Yeah.
We're not saying that.
But sort of, it's highly likely we are in talks about that. But apparently, the word got leaked on Reddit. So, so don't trust everything you hear on the internet. But let's keep our fingers crossed.
Fine pumpkins. Do not trust him.
Fuck that guy. him and Paul are making videos in a basement somewhere, just churning them out. Just going, oh, there's another video. Put 7 ads on it. Here comes churning more out. 7 more ads.
No, I was watching Petrifying Pumpkins does this now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
and they did a whole segment talking about us. Or you, actually, more like you. But well, just, this whole something that we know with Alvo, and we don't know anything, but it was just interesting to see. And I was in there and I was just like, this is propaganda and it's slander. And I was like, don't believe Reddit. It's just clickbait. And I was trying to throw them off. And Dave's just like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Just a heads up on Alvo. No one has seen actual gameplay footage. There's like this trailer that's been floating around for over a year, which is all CG. I can bring that up and show you guys what I'm talking about. And everyone's like, oh my god, and so like everyone's like super pumped on Alvo, and I was like, I'm like, I want to be super pumped on Alvo, and I want to be really excited about it, because obviously we all want another Firewall style game, and this seems to be like the big competitor, or the one with the most potential to be a competitor,
right?
And I'm just like, I'm waiting for some gameplay footage, and I think I've not stopped for like the last 6 months. I have not stopped saying, show me gameplay footage. And that's where all this sort of started. When they were like, "You want gameplay footage?" I was like, "I fucking totally want gameplay footage." So we'll have some more information about Alvo soon. But just don't trust that trailer that just said Alvo 2018. It's almost 2020.
2018.
Yeah, that was some fucking optimism, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did read their article though. They did say like they've had some they're shifting around certain people or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Yep.
So
we have our fingers crossed. We make jokes all the time, but like we want every single PlayStation VR game that comes out to be amazing. And this one especially, it's got so much potential. Right. We just hope it's good.
There are a lot of bad games that come out, so
yeah,
just say your prayers.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Okay. Yeah. All right. What can you tell us about this Cave Digger update? Because I have no idea.
Right.
And I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
I got you covered for a little bit at least here. I know we don't want to talk about certain things till Dave gets back. But here, here's some footage from my Cave Digger time today. Now you can see that Cave Digger always has been teleportation and click turning, right? It always has been, but you were normally picking things up and throwing them. Like, this is what I do in video games. It's like I'm watching my footage. I'm like, oh no, this is typical Bryan Paul footage. Like, I'm fucking anything that's not glued down, I'm like picking it up and seeing if I can break it. But the trailer for this showed full locomotion, and I was like, and so I get into the game and it's all teleportation. And I'm like, oh, what is going on? And so I went onto the developers' Discord and I asked the developers. I said, what is up with the PlayStation VR version? Is there a way to switch over to full locomotion? They said, not yet, but we are doing some quality of life patches, and we should be able to get full locomotion in, which is crazy because it is full locomotion when you're standing on this locomotive that you can see here. But anyway, so the point is that in Cave Digger, you used to be stuck on, in the mine shaft, the mine elevator, and then you just mine the walls, and that's it. It's like very simple, very straightforward. So I've
heard mixed things on this game. I haven't actually played it. I need to just buck down and play it myself.
It's like a $10 game, and it's got all these secrets.
You don't know how broke I am.
No, I'm not saying, oh, it's only $10, you need to buy it. I'm saying it's $10, and so keep your expectations low. But it's a game that's just full of secrets, like so many secrets that
I like stuff like that.
Like it's got all these like weird ass things, man. I want to tell you about some of them to give you an idea, but I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't played it. And so I'm
sure nobody will care if you spoil one thing. Nobody's gonna be like, no, why did you spoil the thing in Cave Digger?
There's a clipboard at the top of the mine shaft or top of the mine elevator that basically says all these different things that you can do, but you don't know how to do it until you've actually done it. And so, and so, anyway, the point is that you discover all these different things. There's a bunch of different endings to discover, and you just keep checking them off the list. And that kind of that gameplay cycle, I guess. There's something appealing about that to me, where I'm like, oh, I just want to see everything that this game has to offer. It's filled with so many secrets. And obviously, at the same time, there's this time crunch too, where you're mining the edges of the walls, and like you're drilling for oil, and you're just like trying to use all your tools as effectively as possible. And it's just fun and goofy and dumb and stupid. Like it's not a great game, but there's something addictive about it.
It doesn't sound like my cup of tea, really. I mean, unless the gameplay is fun, or what you're talking about does sound intriguing to say the least. Really, when there's some kind of game loop that hooks me, it's like something like To the Top, where you discover more about the gameplay or something like that. Like the gameplay gets deeper, and it's like, whoa, like I didn't know I was going to be doing this.
Well, so here's the thing. At first you just have like this pickaxe, like this boring ass pickaxe, and then you go down the mine shaft and just keep mining the walls, and you grab the stuff from the walls and you throw it into the middle, and like you're just like, and then you get back to the top. It sends you back to the saloon where you collect your money for all the shit that you've mined, and there's a store there, and so then you can buy like this sort of like, this there's like a steampunk axe with like this weird like mechanized stuff on it, right? And then you buy like these gloves, and you don't know what the gloves do. Like they're these gauntlets basically. And then you buy there's keys, and like there's a drill, and there's all this different stuff you can buy. So every single time you go back down, you're like kind of experimenting with different ways of procuring money faster. But that's the core game. And it's so strange to be able to actually leave the elevator and just go out into the city. There's a separate store here, and you go and you buy a handle for the locomotive. You put the handle on the locomotive, and boom, you're off and running. Like you just take off, and you can stop it wherever you want. So you get off and explore, and there's things to mine. There's some weird shit to find. I don't know how deep it gets, but man, it's like, again, for another free update that more than doubles the size of the game. This has been a crazy week for PlayStation VR, man. It's just absolutely insane.
Update City. Yeah. Guy son, fist bump to you. Says you can eat mushrooms in the game. Did you eat the mushrooms? And did it trigger a trippy sequence?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's the one where it turns you really, really small. It's like,
and Rody the Game Cat, welcome, man. Good to see you. So it sounds like Prison Boss, where there was no reason I should have liked that game, but for about a week I couldn't stop playing it.
Nice.
Sounds like maybe one of those.
Nice. Prison Boss for me was a little bit of a different story. I feel like you can get everything you need out of Prison Boss after playing the demo. Like once I finished the first level, I was like, oh, I'm good. I don't need this to get more challenging. Like it's just I like what it does, but I don't need to up the ante here. So yeah.
Oh snap! We've got a infiltrator. Petrifying Pumpkins has joined the chat.
I don't know who that is.
So be careful. Mods, I'm just telling you, mods, keep an eye on him.
I mean, you can just boot him now.
Make sure
prevention is better than a cure.
Make sure he's not up to any funny business over there. What's up, Bob?
Where is he from? What is that accent? Is he Irish?
He's from Ireland. Yes, he says VR.
VR. It's almost like Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Yes. You should be streaming Battlewake, Pumpkin.
Speaking of Battlewake came out today in the EU.
It did.
Are we all excited about that? Are all of our European friends excited about that?
Hopefully they're playing it right now. Yeah, there is one more thing I want to... as you know, I really enjoyed that game. When we're talking about it being an arcade game, there was one thing that popped in my head after the GAMESCAST, and I was like, usually in an arcade game, I've never seen an arcade game before where you have 4 characters to choose from. When I imagine an arcade game, it's always been... You
didn't play the Simpsons arcade game or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game?
Oh, maybe, yeah, I did. I beat those, actually.
Those are fucking
I love
cool.
those games.
Yeah.
And the X-Men one.
Yeah, there's some characters to choose from there. How about Street Fighter?
So, yeah. Wow. So I guess, but that's a long time ago. but yeah, I was thinking more like arcade games nowadays, like fighters and stuff. Like, they usually have like a good at least 6 to 8 characters. So I think for me, that's one of the things, like I said, and we do I fully expect there to be more characters added to this game. I really hope that they just, I don't know how people are liking the PvP. I actually went and played the PvP some more and enjoyed it more the second time. So that was nice. But yeah, hopefully everybody, not at all for, yeah, so Boy Brown says not at all for $24.99, way overpriced for Battlewake from what I've seen. And that's kind of what I was getting at, man. I don't think it's a $30 game. I know it's on sale right now, but I do not believe that this is a $30 game. I think they did kind of a similar thing with Sprint Vector, but Sprint Vector was like 23 something. I think it was actually maybe 25, and then they reduced it to 23 at launch, something around there. But I feel like it's a little bit overpriced, but it's really fun. So it's hard to say, and I've spent several hours on it.
For me, Sprint Vector felt like a complete game. This feels like, I hate using the words tech demo, but they nailed the controls, and they were like, it's almost like a proof of concept. Be like, hey, we wanted to make this pirate game, and here's how a pirate game should control in VR, and they fucking nailed it, like from top to bottom, right? The controls are impeccable, and they feel, and I very seldom say controls are fun, right? Usually it's like, oh, the story's entertaining, or or whatever, but the controls aren't usually fun, and I really love the way the ships control in this game, and it's because of the control scheme that it really makes the game fun. And then they kind of forgot to make a game around it. It's ship to ship combat, and then it's variations on a theme. It's attack the fort or defend the fort. And how do you defend the fort? By attacking other ships. Oh, we've been doing that this entire time, right?
Yeah.
It's just too similar from the beginning to end for me to say, oh, you know what, this is a really fully fleshed out idea. It's a great concept, and I think as an arcade game, maybe a $20 arcade game, it's great.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. It's and the funny part is that I've played it for almost around 10 hours, and I had fun most of the time, except for one time.
So, but how when you played with me? For anyone who doesn't know, I just brought AJ the fuck down. He was having a great day, and then he played with me, and he's like, "You're just fucking miserable." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm totally miserable." Like this what happens when I
thought it was an act. Yeah. I thought it was an act, but no, there's a lot of things that he says that are true.
sometimes when
I had fun stuff, but
yeah, well, sometimes this does become a job when you're like, I don't feel like playing video games, and I have to play video games right now. So I'd already formed my impressions about the game, so I was just there to capture footage and stuff. And I was just like, I'm not enjoying myself right now. I don't want to be here. And AJ's like, what's going on, man? So anyway, so that's the thing. It's like I think they nailed a lot, and then they just kind of, again, it's so hard for me to go.
I just think
for $20.
The price is the only problem I have,
right.
Really. But it's like you said. Oh, and one thing, we made a comparison to Sprint Vector and stuff, and I said the same thing. I said Sprint Vector sounded more like a full game, or felt more like a full game. And Dave was like, "What do you mean? It's just racing this that." I forgot to mention one thing about that is with Sprint Vector, you spend a lot of the beginning of that game just getting good at it and figuring out the controls. And the way they have each level, there's first of all, there's 13 something levels that it started with, and there's medals that you have to collect. And for this time, for winning this, you get a bronze medal, a silver medal, and a gold medal. And that is part of the full complete game. If you ever played any kind of racing game, even like Wipeout, there's medals that you get. So that was the big difference to me, is it felt like you were working towards something in that versus just kind of going through each character, going through each ship in Wipeout or whatever. It's like you were trying to get the gold medal. And same with Sprint Vector. You're trying to get the gold medal. Then there's the challenges. Then there's the multiplayer. So I would have liked to see in Battlewake the meat of the game be a little bit more fleshed out. But that being said, I could spend hours and hours and continue to spend hours having fun in multiplayer. So it's a tricky one. I think if you have a group of people to play with, you could play it for just damn near 20 hours and have fun.
Just to clarify, I know Pumpkins and your arch enemy, Dead Game Cat, are having a conversation about the Alvo developers. we're not saying that anybody lied. There was just some talks that happened behind the scenes, and somebody sort of spilled the beans before they were supposed to. That's all we were saying. No one lied. Just want to be clear about that. Yeah, Battlewake. So that's a tough thing, right? It's like, so I gotta get this review out. I'm probably gonna get a review out in the next couple of days. And the fact is like, if it was a $20 game, it would. So how do you say, oh, for $20 it would be great, and then for $30 it's not so great? It's like, it's $10 difference, and it's still really fucking fun. So there's going to be some kind of happy medium in there somewhere. It's definitely going to be. Decepticon says no music is a bug. Is that really true?
No, yeah. The Just Incredible also said, "Is it me? Is there no music?" And kind of odd seeing as Servius always nails the music. Yeah, it's got to be a bug, man, because they said that, hey, this is the Battlewake soundtrack that you can buy separately. And what happened? There's no music.
There's no music in the game.
And that soundtrack is probably pretty good too. Like,
if you can buy it separately, you'd better fucking hope it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't sell it separately if that was the case. So yeah, that's kind of another little problem. There's not a whole lot of problems that game has, but yeah, there's a couple for sure that need to be talked about. That's something I was so hyped up about it last week, so excited about the gameplay, because that's first and foremost, I love gameplay. I love pirates. I love the art style of it. Everything. Like, the difference between this and Battlewake, not Bravo Team, is that this one immediately grabs you visually, and it's like, this was what pirates look like, and this is what. So I love that. I love it for that. Absolutely. But yeah, no music. I think that is a bug, and that's not good. Does the PC version have music, guys? I'm curious.
So it sounds like it's a bug, and that's good to hear, because, man, like when we were playing together, it was oddly noticeable. It was like I even turned on some music while we were playing just to kind of, I don't know, add to the excitement or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, music gets me fired up in games, man. The Witching Tower, which we'll get into in a minute, that was one thing that grabbed me right away. I am definitely a music junkie, so yeah, that's a big part of it. So hopefully they get that fixed soon. I don't know. I haven't played it in like a couple days. I've been played like 10 other games because of all these damn updates that came out.
Yeah, right. It's ridiculous. All right. Well, I think does that. Oh no, you know what? No Man's Sky also got an update.
Yep. So the moment you have all been waiting for. I tried to wait for Dave as long as I could for that. He said 15 minutes, like 30 minutes ago. So I tried to, but essentially, No Man's Sky got patch 1 or 2.12, I think it was. 1.12, 2.12.
Some numbers in there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But so the big thing that was supposed to be happening was the graphics update that they said through a couple of little tricks here and there that they're going to reduce the blurriness of the game, because we all know it's blurry, even on the Pro. And, a lot of people were saying, like, is this the Pro patch? And the best way I can describe it for me personally is like part of a Pro patch. It's like one little small piece of it. And some of these comparison videos that people have done are not too far off from what it shows. Like, some of the rendering, they mentioned in the notes, some of the rendering has been reworked. And I agree. Some of the stuff does seem like it shows up a little bit sooner than later as you get closer to it. About the reduced blurriness, though, it's so minor. It is there, but it's so minor. A lot of people aren't going to be able to notice it. And really, where I noticed it the most was some of the AI, some of the things that the NPCs that you interact with, you seem a little bit more clear. Some of the worlds, like when you have these giant rock formations in the distance, you see like a little bit more textures on them and stuff. Some of the trees will be a little bit more textures, but it doesn't matter because it's all still surrounded in blur. So it only helps a little bit. It feels like a small piece of the Pro patch that we're waiting for as a whole. I think maybe original PS4 owners may have seen the biggest difference here.
It should be identical no matter what system you're on. Yeah. So I think everybody's seeing the exact same thing as of right now. And I don't think, yeah, I didn't notice a difference, but obviously I'm not spending hundreds of hours in it. I've got other things I'm trying to work on. So, I'm glad they're slowly making their way, hopefully toward that pro patch. They're slowly making their way toward making it better universally. And the fact is I don't think I've ever seen a game come out and just have it be non-stop patched like this. It came out and it was fine. Not fine. I take that back. There were certain things that needed to be fixed, but this is just they're just committed, man. They're just absolutely committed to making this great. And
they are definitely making improvements. The Blaze Javelin, which I don't know who knows what a Blaze Javelin is, but it's basically a laser gun that you get and you charge it up and let go, and it fires a powerful ray beam at something. They fixed that, so that actually works now, which I'm really happy about. And then there are things up close within a certain small radius that look a little sharper. But I'll tell you what my favorite part of this update, though.
The inventory stacks.
Well, there are inventory stacks as well. New inventory
definitely
stacks
improved some of that. Yep.
Yeah, and that's great to see. But guys, there are now Nexus or Space Anomaly community events, and this is the part of this patch that has me the most excited, because now you can do these when you go to the Nexus missions and look at them. There's one that's highlighted, and they have daily tasks. And essentially, the significance of this is that you can earn Quicksilver. What is Quicksilver, you might ask? Quicksilver is used to buy special exotic items or armor from the Space Anomaly. So,
and it's been really hard to fucking come by, I will say, for a long
time.
Hey, what's up? I've never been able to find Quicksilver. So I'm glad they're reintroducing it.
Well, for a lot of people that did a lot of these missions already, they didn't have a way to go back and get Quicksilver anymore. So what's really cool is that now you have a new way of earning Quicksilver. The other thing that's cool is when you go to the merchant that's at the Nexus, they have there's now a new armor. There's a special exotic armor that you can unlock, but it's going to take all of us working together because it unlocks at tier 5. And to hit tier 5, everybody has to complete these Nexus missions in this special one as a community event, as a community. And once you hit the tier 5, then they become available to you. So that's pretty cool. It gives incentive for everybody to work together to go do these things. They did something similar with Tetris Effect, where you would all have to, everybody would have to play this Tetris to a certain completion level, and then it would unlock an avatar or something for you. So I really, really love this. I'm still looking forward to the pro patch, but this by far is the biggest part of the update as far as I'm concerned.
You know what I love is seeing in the comments, some people saying, like Snowy's here, saying, without a doubt clear, I haven't played No Man's Sky since the first few days, as it was so blurry it was almost unplayable, and now finally playable again, as blurriness is a lot less.
There's such a wide variety of feedback, because I feel like to some degree it's got to be a placebo effect.
Because that's what I was thinking.
I hear people saying this looks 20 times, not 20 times, but way better.
I think your eyes are also adjusting as well, and that's why some people see it. I know there is a difference. I've seen the difference, but I'm telling you, it's so
minor.
Small.
It's very minor. Small.
Yeah. There are things that already looked good in the game up close. The underwater looked great up close. Yeah. Things up close looked fine. So some of that might be mixing in. I know what you're talking about. If you say I see a difference, I believe you. But it's not that big of a difference.
I think what Wink Rogers is saying is right. The stuff in the cockpit is definitely a bit clearer, easier to read, although you don't really ever need to read it for any reason, but it's clearer. And I think the text in the menus is a little bit crisper as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But as far as I went to my bases to find a place that I know.
Just barely.
Well, pretty much. I was I'll use for comparison the places I've been to the most, where I spent all of my time, my bases.
Right.
And they looked almost exactly the same, I got to be honest.
Yeah.
So
it does render better.
They're moving in the right direction. And
they are.
Did you guys already talk about the inventory stack thing?
I mean, just in passing. But yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if anybody out there is somebody who's at the point where they're trying to work with glass or materials that only stack up to 5 in a slot usually, those are increased now. I think it's either 10 or 20. So more inventory improvements, which is always helpful because, that was always a pain in the ass before the Beyond update.
Yeah.
But when they introduced all the new mechanics and new items that come with those mechanics, you're still having inventory issues. So anything that helps is great.
Yeah, no, absolutely agreed. Inventory management is my biggest struggle in this game. And just
it always has been.
Being able to stack thousands of things in one inventory slot makes a huge difference.
So Secret Sub is saying the colors look more vibrant. Snowy says the creatures are much clearer. I noticed things like, I think maybe some of the detail on the creatures. What I noticed the most, I think, was actually the asteroid fields. Like when you go out into space, I noticed like you can kind of see everything has like a little bit more texture to it. Not everything, some things. The things that are affected have a little bit more to the textures, a little bit more like definition to them. So I know what they're talking about.
Nice.
But ultimately, yeah, we still have to wait for that pro patch, unfortunately. But man, I'm still having a blast with the game. I was
never. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I've been searching a bunch underwater, and underwater looks great. So I got it made right now until I go back above land.
I haven't gone underwater since the update, so I will say I don't know. Some people said that was way better than it used to be. That's the one part I didn't really check out. So,
Right on. All right, guys, what do you think? Should we talk about the games that came out this week?
I think we should, but I'll be back in half a second here because your arch enemy, the dead game cat, is pressuring me to take a shot. Actually, I offered, but I'll be right back.
Okay.
We were so close. We were so close to having a sober cast. Oh well.
So close. But yeah, I'm still loving the game. I'm at 250 hours right now in No Man's Sky.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yep. There's I like to explore, man. I like to explore, and there's so much to learn and find, and really you can find one thing that you love in the game and just go as far as you want with it. For me, the one little disappointment is like I've kind of seen like all the ocean animals. They haven't added like a bunch of really there's a couple, but it's like you kind of see the same one, or you see like a different variation of the same one. So I was looking for a whale, looking for Moby Dick for the longest time, and yeah, that's just it's not in the game yet.
Are we talking about Battlewake or No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky. So
it would be great to see a big underwater creature. Yeah, they seem
There's a couple.
Size, most of them.
Most of them are about shark size. When you see the ones that are special, they're like shark, maybe a little bit bigger. There's like some like eel, dragon looking things that are pretty big. But there's no like whale size stuff. So that's actually what got me hooked to the game in the first place. Back when it launched, was like I was searching for these exotic planets. Because at the time, it was like I wanted like some exotic planets with some deep water, and at least the game has that now and has some really stunning stuff to look at. So that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite things I've ever made in this underwater base that me and Joystick put together. I got one of those like you can make these clear circular like tube hallways between areas, and it's like I don't know if you've ever seen at SeaWorld where you walk through a thing. A lot of aquariums have this. What you look up and there's like sharks floating above you and fish everywhere and stuff like that, and you're just in a glass tube. It looks so cool in No Man's Sky VR. Like when you get those jellyfish just swimming over the top and you're like in a structure, but you're kind of like enjoying nature. I don't know. It's very good. Anyways, before we continue, this one I guess is for your arch enemy. Long work day, all done now.
What is that? Ash says, does anybody have that motorcycle thing? Or anyone rode that motorcycle thing in VR? Yeah, the Pilgrim. You can get the blueprints from the Nexus. If you go to the back of the Nexus or the Space Anomaly, whatever the hell it's called, there's a bunch of blueprints you can buy using technology modules. So just find those buried technology modules, dig those up, go buy the stuff from the Nexus in the back. There's tons of stuff. There's also Nexus suit upgrade.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Blueprints for everything is back there. So just go back there and get it.
I really like what they did with the blueprints in the Beyond update, because before it was like sort of arbitrary what you'd get and when you'd get it. And like now there's a clear upgrade tree and you just go to one space, one spot. You know exactly how much it costs, what you want to buy next. And those technology modules are all over the place. Like, I'll just be stacking up like 30 at a time and just be like, all right, I'm going back to the Nexus. Like,
they're not on every planet, but the planets that
there's a lot of them. Yeah,
there's always a lot of them on that planet, just like Ancient Bones, stuff like that. So,
exactly.
And the Nexus, the community events missions or whatever, those are pretty much the same kind of missions. Go find Ancient Bones. Go kill monstrosities. So no new missions like that.
There's some of them that are almost disappointingly like not cooperative. It's like, oh, feed 5 animals, and it's like, well, I'm the only one who brought bait. So what are you guys doing? Just hanging out? Okay.
I like those though. Well, cool.
All right.
What about those? What about those games?
What about
those games this week?
We got some nice surprises this week.
I've been thinking about those games.
Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's start with Groundhog Day.
All right. I think we can talk about Groundhog Day.
Save the best for last.
Yeah. Groundhog Day. Like Father Like Son. Tequila Works.
Good developer.
Great
in theory, in general.
Dave, I talked to you last night on the phone.
Yes, and I only got to play. Happy. I only got to play another half an hour after that, but I became happier.
Good.
Just within that 30 minutes.
The first hour is fucking really rough.
Yeah. So what Bryan and I talked about last night on the phone is that in the review, he says it's boring in the first hour, which I do agree with, but it's also maddening and kind of poorly implemented. Like, people are always talking over each other the whole time.
Yeah.
Your character inserts dialogue in spaces where it seems weird to do so. And it's just like kind of maddening. There's all this shit going on, and you're just like, what do I do? What the fuck do I do here?
It just seems sloppy, right? It just seems like sloppy.
It's very
design.
sloppy, yeah. But then once it starts to click, I do think that it gets better. Like, as soon as I realized, okay, this is what I need to open the window and make the Zen smoothie and keep her from doing this and all this stuff.
Right.
So I got through that first section pretty quickly once I figured out every little thing I had to do. The controls are not ideal, and I'll let you guys talk about that a little bit.
I mean, as far as the controls go, the being forced to only teleport, and then teleport to only specific locations around each room, and not only is that frustrating, but also there's like this collision detection problem where like, and I'm not even talking about picking objects up. I'm talking about like, selecting an area. It's like you have
grabbing stuff and
sure, that too. But like, like even dialogue responses pop up, and I felt like I was accidentally grabbing the wrong one. I was like, who's playing this? Who's playtesting this and going, oh yeah, this works perfectly. I was selecting the wrong responses. All you got to do is reach out and grab a response, and I was grabbing the wrong one. I was like, I was clearly up here, and you selected this one down here. It's really weird shit like that I feel like a couple of patches could probably rectify.
And there's some stuff that's just not even intuitive, really. Like when you're making a smoothie, right? Mm-hmm. Anything else in that kitchen area, you like can put on a plate or put in a cup or something.
Yeah.
The smoothie, you can't take off the thing,
right?
And you're like, how do I serve it to her?
Right.
I made it. It's just stuck here, glued here. And then eventually she walks up and she just drinks it directly out of the pitcher. And you're like, oh, I guess that was the thing.
Yeah.
But it's confusing at first. I don't know. I couldn't get down with this sort of delivery a lot of the time either. From the beginning of the game. From the beginning of the game, it's sort of.
I didn't really have any issues with the controls or figuring things out in the beginning of the game. I was kind of just following the ride that it was showing and just kind of having fun. I gotta say though, I was concerned about like the sense of humor, and I love the sense of humor so far.
It was so hit or miss for me.
But I was laughing pretty much from the get-go on little things. I don't know if you were noticing, like when he does like the tweets and like the responses to the tweets, it goes kind of fast, so you might miss them.
No, I looked at those. Those were pretty funny. Actually, that was one of my favorite parts of the game in between.
I wasn't crazy about the transition. When we talk about what really makes some games excel is the way they envision this is going to be a VR game. We want everything to be seamless. And I don't think the way you move to each area, the only problem with the controls that I had so far was actually where you go, where you move to. It gives you like a space and stuff, and you click right there, and then you have to teleport to right there, and it gives you like a space to teleport to. It's not like teleport to this spot. It's like teleport within this area. And there I had like a little bit of trouble picking a spot, being close enough to like grab the guitar or something. And then so I had to like redo it. And then
you got to reposition. Yeah, you got to reposition.
Right, right.
Well, the interesting thing is that you might not realize from us just talking about teleport only. Usually that's like a node, right? And in some cases in this game it is, but in some cases it's an area, like a big rectangle on the floor where you can teleport to the left side, the right side, the front of it, the back of it. And there's certain spots in there where you can't do what you need to do with the controls that you have. So you got to kind of fidget around within the space that you have and keep teleporting to get stuff done.
I got to say though, one of the first things I did was went up to this is not a spoiler because this is in the trailer, but one of the first things I did was while they're all talking, they're playing out the dialogue and everything, I went straight to the sink, opened the drawer, got a knife out, turned on the toaster, and just stuck that right in the toaster and died. And I was like, I'm going to like this game. I can't wait. I think one of the things I'm going to have the most fun with, I can lose a lot of time playing this game because I just want to see how many ways I can die. Like, I don't know. Something about it just seems fun to me.
I want to back.
I will say, Oh, real quick. This is a quick comment. Yeah. I realize it's an M-rated game. I realize it has certain.
I think we're going to the same place right now.
I didn't need to see the kid's boner. I'm telling you guys. You pick up a dirty magazine, and then he looks down, and he's got literally through the sheets. You see a boner, and I was like. Right. Well, what can I do with this? It's a VR game. Do I rub it? Like
I definitely reached down and tried to grab my own dick. I was like, if you're going to give me a dick, I better be able to grab it.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just like, there are a few misses for me as far as the tone and the delivery.
That's going to be taken out of context for like a month.
I did not get to
Brian Paul said, if you're going to give me a dick, I'm going to grab it. That's
hilarious.
That was like one of the first things I did. Like, you know, they put you in that bed like to start off, and then you just kind of like reach around and see what you can pick up. And like I grabbed that magazine, didn't even realize it was like a dirty magazine, right? Because I'm not really paying much attention to what it is. I looked down and like, and I was like, this
motherfucker's got a boner.
I was like, this is the kind of sense of humor that like I'm in for the next 7 hours. Is like dick and fart.
It wasn't a good impression. It
made me feel like this was like a new Leisure Suit Larry game. Like you know, because
I did like the dark, dirty humor a little bit though. Like I like that it felt like kind of almost. I don't want to say real because obviously it's like exaggerated, but I like how they tried to make it like a little. I didn't run into that. Part, so I actually missed that. But
it's on your nightstand to the left if you pick up the one magazine that's there.
I actually liked how there was like some swearing. How I get to just walk around being the rudest ass in town. Like I loved walking around because I'm like I always try to be such a nice guy. I really do. I really always try to be nice to people because you never know what somebody's been through or whatever. And so to be able to just be in this game and then walk around, just be the biggest dick in the world was actually like really satisfying for me. Because I was like, finally, like I can be a complete asshole and nobody's affected, nobody's hurt by it. So it was pretty funny.
I mean, I guess that's also part of the theme of the original is that Bill Murray was a piece of shit. Like he didn't act nice to anybody. He was like, you know, not the greatest guy in the world. But for me, just the humor didn't hit right all the time, and there was a lot of, you know, we're streamers, guys. And this whole thing is like an extended takedown of streaming culture. And occasionally there would be stuff in there where I'm like, dude, did you have to come at me like that? Fuck you. Like, we're not all like that. So I don't know. It didn't hit with me on the tone and the delivery all the time. But I started to settle into the game itself and started to like it after about the hour mark, like Bryan said. Like, once you put the pieces together and you know exactly what you got to do, and it gives you hints. I mean, it's like, oh, there's a vegan magazine over there. Maybe that's got the instructions for the Zen smoothie. Right. And so you go pick it up and you look at it and whatever.
I will tell you.
I haven't played the whole thing, so you know better than I do.
I just think the game, it just takes too long to get going. I think too many people are gonna get through the first hour and go, this just isn't for me. And I would totally understand when people drop out and go, this was a waste of money, I'm not into it.
I almost did. I almost gave up, honestly. Even though I paid $30 for it. I didn't get a code. I paid $30 for it.
I gotta address this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I feel like you think or you expect with a franchise like as well known as Groundhog Day and a developer that I trust as well as Tequila Works, to not have that initial impression be so tedious and not that good. But then what if you power through it, it's worth it. But it's just like I wish they had nailed that intro a lot better than they did.
I did like how it kind of also it went from this really like awful thing, you're an awful person thing, and then it starts bringing in the more heartfelt stuff. So I'm really excited to see
it does.
Together.
That's true.
Bill Murray's one of my favorite actors, and I don't really like dry sense of humor in general, but something about the way he does everything, I absolutely love it. And I feel like there's a lot of that in this game, even though it kind of goes off a little bit onto its own thing. I can see a lot of like classic movie vibe to this, and I like it for that. So
I mean, in some ways, that sort of stuff I was talking about, the boner shit and whatever, like that's like that is indicative of those kind of 80s humor films,
right?
And like what they were going for. So I guess they did respect the original material and try to reproduce it.
Yeah,
but
like
in 2019, you're kind of like, all right, well,
I would say that, like, as far as like first impressions go, and actually, you know what? One of the things that bothered me throughout the course of the entire game was, you know, a lot of people said, "Oh, this looks like it's going to be kind of like a Telltale game or something like that," because of, I think, you know, people looked at the art style and I mean, it was like, "Oh, okay, you know, it's kind of like Telltale-ish," and I will say that Telltale has a style.
It's not.
It's
not.
There's like a almost cell shaded, stylized version. It's like reality but cartoonified, right? And this is just so over exaggerated in terms of like the character models. You know, you get some people's faces are like, you know, 5 times bigger than others, and it's.
Your mom's face looks ridiculous.
I think everybody's
not your mom's face.
Weird.
Not your mom's face. I mean, our mom's face in the game. Yeah. Anybody's mom's face in the game.
Panic.
I think.
This is Uncle Buck VR. Sorry,
Uncle Buck VR sounds fucking dope. I'll be Uncle Buck
John
VR.
Candy.
Sign me up, man.
I just couldn't believe that they stuck with this visual style, like, because it's really not appealing at all. I don't think I like cartoony games. I don't like the character models in this at all. I just
it's also a weird mismatch between visuals and the tone of the game.
Yeah.
Because it looks like on the surface, if you saw footage without the cursing and the dick stuff, you'd be like, oh, this is for kids.
Right.
And if you just ignored the M rating and you're some parent, and you're like, oh, look, it's a cartoony game for my kid to play. That's what it presents itself as.
You're absolutely right, because I think that's what caught me off guard with all the cussing in it, because I was like not expecting that. I was like, whoa. Like, so.
And I guarantee you there are people out there who are like, oh, it's cartoons, but they're cursing. That's awesome. Like, you know, like people love Beavis and Butthead. I like Beavis and Butthead.
South
but people
Park
like
and
Family Guy and South
absolutely.
Park and all this shit.
I get it.
So there is a precedent for it, I guess.
But this
I just
style is just
like the
unappealing
style that much. Yeah, I agree with you.
It's a little off, but
like, if it looked more like a Telltale game, I'd be happier. Like, because even Telltale games with the cartoony aesthetic still look somewhat mature, right? People who have like serious facial expressions look like they have serious facial expressions. This is just everyone looks kind of stupid. And
you know, with Invisible Hours, it was blurry. I'll say it was blurry, but the character models and everything in it was like realistic enough, but still video gamey enough. It was like the perfect.
Awesome.
It hit that mark very well. Yeah. And I also think that the implementation for the initial playthrough on Invisible Hours way better. Way better.
Yeah.
When you start playing and you realize what the mechanic is, you're like, oh, this is exciting. When you realize what the mechanic is in Groundhog Day, you have to sit through repeated dialogue.
That's the only problem I have
four times to get to the part where you get to use that mechanic.
Right.
And in Invisible Hours, there was no friction. You could do whatever you wanted the whole time.
Yeah. It was starting to wear on me pretty fast.
I feel like it kind of was a downgrade for them based on the mechanics of previous stuff they released.
Just be patient. That's all I gotta say is be patient. After the first hour or so, like you very seldom have to sit through dialogue again. You know, like it all starts making a lot more sense. And they I
got the impression that once you beat a section properly, you don't have to go back to it ever.
You don't.
Is that true?
You don't. And in fact, like you will want to go back to them and like do some different things occasionally, but for the most part, there's like a green option that you just grab that's like that'll just fast forward you to the next section.
Yeah, and
yeah.
that only comes in after about the hour mark, though. So for the first hour, you do have to replay these things.
Yeah.
Repeat it. And then once you get it right, you can just move on and tackle the next section, which is good, but I wish it had come earlier.
But this entire thing, your enjoyment of this game, and you, Dave, you, AJ, you, everybody who's listening, your entire enjoyment of this game is how much you want to enjoy the story, how much you're going to get into it. If you're ready for like an emotional roller coaster, like then this is right up your alley. If you liked what the original Groundhog Day did in terms of like an emotional story, then this mimics it to a T. It's perfect. And and like I mean, I cried at least once during this game, which was shocking to me. I was like, because the first hour I was like, man, I don't even fucking like this. So
it's got like Ghost Giant feels, like it hits you.
If you've seen the original Groundhog Day, there's at least one moment in this that you're like, yeah, no.
Well, I feel like the one thing that is sort of was a complaint, but also is in keeping with the original Groundhog Day is like, I thought this character was a dick. I didn't like him. Yeah. And you're not supposed to like Bill Murray at the beginning of Groundhog Day.
Right.
He has a redemption arc through the repeated days, and he eventually becomes the person you can get behind.
So I assume
I think we're getting into spoiler territory.
I don't think so, but I will say, as far as spoiler territory is concerned, the trailer shows you having to be a bartender here. Least favorite part of the game. It's way later in the game, and it's such trial and error bullshit puzzle solving. It's I feel bad for anyone who takes as long as I did to figure out what you're supposed to do there. It's it's infuriating.
A lot of people will.
You probably did it faster than what
I mean, I think that's a good thing to say about this game in general, is that it has its merits, but it is intermittently infuriating.
And
like at the beginning, it's infuriating. It becomes better later. I'll let you answer this one.
Yeah, and TKMD, the game cat, said, would Groundhog Day be one of your top puzzle games? No, absolutely not. I think it'd be one of my top, like as far as narrative games go.
Yeah.
I would like this will definitely find its a spot in the 2019 best narrative award show category. But puzzle games, like some of the puzzle solutions, like you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, but a lot of it's like trial and error. So
yeah, and I mean, in some cases, like the initial ones are just like, well, I can't spoil it. Never mind. I take it back.
Don't bother.
I'm not gonna spoil it.
And it's probably time to move on. Cloak Trooper agrees with me. That part made him tear up too. I feel better.
Sweet.
Sad boy hours.
So now I'm ready to talk about a game that completely caught me off guard. One that I streamed on this channel, and it is Witching Tower. Not the Witching Tower, just Witching Tower.
Witching Tower. It caught me off guard too. I was very surprised.
Yeah,
I actually really like this game.
Me too. I think we're all going to say the same thing. Yeah.
I heard before we really get too far, I heard some really bad things before I played it. I was expecting it. Well, because when people tell you, oh, Polish Paul said it feels like this, then like 2 years ago, I should have learned to say, well, that's irrelevant to me. He likes Vroom Kaboom.
I can't trust him.
Right? So at a certain point, I should have realized, stop listening when you hear that. And I didn't, and I was like, oh, this is going to be rough. The controls are going to be bad. Dude, I went in and I was like, this is really fun. It's really enjoyable.
Yeah. No, it's from the start. It's got a cool narrative. It looks way better than I expected. And there are a lot of mechanics as far as like storing stuff in your inventory, bringing it back for later. It's a very traditional. There is combat, but it's like one of those adventure games where you need a certain item to do this, and you go here and you put this here and it does that, and you move on. And the combat, I think, is what some people had issues with. But honestly, it's no different than the melee combat in Skyrim, if we're being totally honest.
This is the thing. It's not, they got it wrong. It's not the combat that's the problem. Because like you said, it's like kind of like Skyrim where
you waggle your hand and it works. You
have a lot more freedom than that though. It's your choice to waggle your hand. That's not the combat. When I was going around, I was like dodging, moving, like poking, getting behind him. The problem is not the combat.
Put way too much effort into it. I just went like this. I was just like this. I
got all into it, man. And the problem is not the combat. The problem is the AI. You don't notice it at first because it's a dog that comes up and you're like, bonk.
It's very stupid.
Or it's a bat that comes up and you're just like bonk.
Yeah.
But once you get into the skeletons, the bosses stuff, the combat's actually pretty cool what they're going for, because it's actually giving you the option to block. Like if a skeleton swings at you, you can actually block and it stuns them, and then you can hit them. Yeah, I think that's actually really cool design. However, the AI is so dumb. The AI will just walk up and be like, ugh, and it does this, and then you wait for it to do its thing, and it goes, ugh, and it does this. It just doesn't work because the AI is dumb. However, everything else in the game, most of it is pretty amazing, starting with the castle. The way the castle looks, the graphics, the art design of it is beautiful. Then you have the puzzles. I'm not a big puzzle guy, but these puzzles were very much like these crazy medieval contraptions. It's
The one lock puzzle where you got to twist the thing around and like slide stuff into the certain spot. At first I was like, what am I doing? And then I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. I kind of like this. And that's the meat of the game. So the combat being a little subpar isn't the end of the world to me, because like it's not a game about fighting.
Right.
It's a game about getting out of this place and
it's
discovering.
Kind of like you said, the adventure, the story.
Yeah, exactly. And from the beginning, you're kind of into the story because the delivery is good, the voice acting is good, the presentation is good. I like your
models look good.
Yeah, it's just
enemies,
very much a surprise. I was very surprised. And also, I will say, I wouldn't expect a dog, a bat, or a skeleton to be the smartest things in the world. So, I don't know.
True.
True, they don't have brains. But
dogs and bats have brains, but
for me, the combat was just like a diversion.
Not like human brains.
It was just something so that you weren't wandering around solving puzzles. It's like, because I was, even though swatting a torch at a bat, or when you finally get your sword, fighting with that, it wasn't terribly exciting, but at least it was something else that was happening, like some sort of action sequence between just pulling levers and turning dials and stuff. Even if the combat isn't terribly good, I do think that it added some much needed variety to the gameplay.
Well, absolutely. This is the thing, is that, absolutely, it had to be in there. And what also made it work, too, is there's a little bit more depth to it than you expect. They mentioned in the trailer stuff, there is necromancy stuff in here, so I don't want to go into the specifics.
I didn't get that far, so no spoilers.
Yeah.
I had to cram it in right before we started.
But they throw in other things like just the way they have this little guide thing that follows you, the little skull.
I love that guy. That guy's
good. Usually those are always annoying and stuff. And he kind of gets in the way sometimes. Once you get your sword, your melee weapon or whatever, he kind of ends up like hitting him every time. And I'm like, oh, sorry. And he's like, oh, now I've got a headache. And he's actually very helpful for once, because a lot of the times, so many of those little things that are supposed to help you don't do shit. And I was really happy that he actually assists you along the way.
He'll give you hints, and he'll also hover above a certain area that's of interest.
Right.
And so then we haven't talked about the secret vision, the mage vision, whatever it is.
You mean detective vision?
Detective vision, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. It's the same thing from Arkham, whatever, but it's cool. I mean, it works in this game. I like it. You have these spirits that you have to free. And you can see this astral chain, just to throw that out there. It's a good game for Switch. You see this astral chain connecting them to the thing that's keeping them there as a spirit. And if you do something with it, say you burn it or whatever, then they're freed from their, torment, and you can move on. So it's kind of cool. It's well implemented. I like it.
So I'm fascinated by something in the chat, and I've read it 17 times, but I'm not sure if I'm reading it correctly.
What is it?
RC Windward says, at Antique MD, the game cat is my other half sitting next to me. So if he says anything you don't like, I will smack him for you. Are there two people on the same couch? Are there two people on the same couch watching this together?
It's probably Kevin, his roommate. Nice people. Very nice.
Do people call their roommates their other half?
I'm just saying. I'm just shocked. There's two people watching this on the same couch together. I don't know why that fascinates me.
Oh man, like I said, we need to get that thing going in big screen once big screen is on PSVR.
Dude,
people can hang out and watch the show in big screen together.
I cannot wait. I wish
that's going to be so cool.
a viewer that could watch this on big screen with other game cats, I'm leaving the show when big screen comes out.
Oh God, I wouldn't watch this if I was not. This is terrible. There's got to be better things to watch on big screen.
Big time, Brad.
There's a bunch of porn rooms.
Anyways,
I don't think those will end up on PSVR.
Hey, you were right. It's Kevin. You nailed it. All right.
You know, I've been playing No Man's Sky with them.
Cool.
But whatchamacallit? But you know, the other things with the combat too, like, you know, you have these items. I love the inventory system in this. It gives you the little pouch on your wrist.
Oh yeah,
I love
that's
that.
really cool.
It works so well.
It's so intuitive and it just works. Yeah.
The only time it doesn't work is sometimes when firing the bow. Sometimes if you're trying to be quick about it, you'll grab that instead of the bow. But everything else about that,
I didn't play as long.
I didn't have it much. It happened to me like twice, so not a big deal. But it does.
I'm like 2.5 hours in. I've got to say I haven't had that happen to me yet.
Good. I'm glad because
good for me.
Also the tracking is superb. The tracking is really good in this game. I can throw. We were talking about throwing stuff. We always have this conversation about when you try to throw stuff in VR, how it works. How is it the game design? Is it the moves? What is it? I think it's just the game design because the tracking in this, there was literally like a bat that was like up, and I threw my torch at it, and it like almost hit it. Actually, it did hit it, and I was like, "There's 9 times out of 10 any VR game I play, if I try to throw something overhand, it's not going to go exactly where I want it to go.
Right.
Everything I was throwing was going right where I was throwing it, like felt like I was throwing it, and I was like, that is awesome."
Yeah, and that's good because like there's parts where you really have to throw a bomb like in the right spot to get past, and you can hurt yourself if you throw it in the wrong place or whatever, and it works. It just works.
Now the downside is, of course, that it's not a terribly long game. I thought I was, you know, still had a ways to go, and from what AJ's told me, I'm like pretty much near the end. So we're talking like, it seems like it's like a 3-hour game.
It's, you know, that is one of the problems. I will say right off the bat, though, Wizards and not Mage's Tale. Mage's Tale was longer, but this is obviously more fun. But Wizards was about the same length, but I feel like this got everything right that Mage's Tale and Wizards didn't get right for me.
And it's weird because it's such an unassuming game. There was no hype around it. Wizards and Mage's Tale we were hyped about.
Well, there wasn't much time. There wasn't much time. There was one preview a couple weeks ago.
I had no clue that this even was coming out. And when I bought it, I was like, okay, $20, we'll see. But it's good. I'm satisfied. I'm very satisfied with it. So it's a surprising left field kind of entry that nails a lot of stuff. Like you said, Mage's Tale and Wizards don't hit as well as they could.
Snowy in the comments says, looks like it's a poor man's Skyrim. And I couldn't really disagree more. After playing it for 2.5 hours, I'm like, for me, this doesn't feel like Skyrim at all. It feels like a puzzle game. That's
it has some similarities. I'll tell you what it made me think of, and this is a stretch, but I mentioned at the very beginning of that stream I did, I said I'm a big fan of Castlevania and Devil May Cry games. And what it is that captured it for me is like more the Devil May Cry, not combat, obviously. But if any of you have played Devil May Cry, which I'm sure you have,
somebody might have. I think there's a couple people in the world who've played it.
Yeah, there was this thing about Devil May Cry 1 where you're going from room to room, and it's this beautiful environment, beautiful, like, you know, it's this rusty, worn out castle that you're kind of exploring, and there was like moments of this game where every room I went into, I was like stopping and looking at everything. And that's very similar, like this amazing statue of this like angel that's like worn out and it looks kind of like eerie almost. There's so many moments in this Gothic art painting or the stained glass windows. The stained glass windows actually looked a little bit more cartoony, but they still look colorful and nice. But especially against this like flat gray area. But there's a lot of like just the Gothic stuff that really like made me stop and look at it, and it reminded me of Devil May Cry in several ways.
Well, there's also an interesting thing about the game. A game that looks this good, usually you can't interact with everything. But in this game, most of the stuff on the shelves, the books, the baubles, there's these little pieces of
Skeletons.
paper that kind of give you background info on what you're looking at here and stuff like that. And they're very like well illustrated and they look good, and you can just pick up everything. It's very cool and unusual to be able to interact with most of the things in the environment when a game looks this good. So I don't know how they pulled that off, but good job.
Talking about your interacting with objects, the skeletons that are laying around look really good. And there was a moment on the stream. That stream, by the way, was like one of the most fun streams I ever had because the game is just right up my alley. I love dark gothic shit. So one of my favorite moments in the game was grabbing this metal rod, and I went up to this skeleton, and I got everybody's golf into it, and just like look, and we're just like boom, and just watched like the head go flying, the skull go flying, and I was like, I like this.
That's awesome. Dave, you liked The Mage's Tale?
I did. I didn't play the whole thing, but I thought it was fun.
That's why you didn't like it. I mean, that's why you liked it. Okay. I played the whole thing, and I was like halfway through, I was like, this needs to be over now. And
I couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
I got stuck at some puzzles. I just couldn't.
That's fair. I didn't have an issue with the implementation. I liked it. I liked the environments, and I thought the spell casting, even though it was less immersive than a game like The Wizards that requires you to actually do like these incantations, like conjure stuff with your hands, it was a lot more functional. I could actually hit guys, but the boss fights were pretty underwhelming, and I don't know. Yeah. It's just I didn't mind it. I liked what I played of it.
I just felt like they took the dungeon crawler motif a little too far. It's like, wow, this is just dungeon.
We're in a dungeon for
10 hours. Dungeon crawler.
For 10 hours. Yeah.
Right. And
just crawling through a dungeon, going like this over and over.
And let's slow the game down to a crawl so that you have to go like just find objects and bring them back to this room. I'm like, sure, that's not what I call exciting gameplay. I just hated the puzzles in that game. They were the worst puzzles I've ever seen.
I'll say my tendency to not complete an entire game cuts both ways, because in the case of Immortal Legacy, when I stopped, you guys said, "Oh, you stopped right when it got good," and with Mage's Tale, I stopped right before it got bad. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
this game was such a nice surprise. I will say it does kind of it doesn't flesh out in every single way that I'd hoped for. Like, I wish I was expecting 4-hour game, ended up being kind of 3 hours. But man, just there's so much to like about this game. Like, in terms of
charming off the bat, it just draws you in, and you're like, I like this shit. Like, it's good.
The atmosphere is so good, and just going around the castle, I really enjoyed the puzzles, just like how I like the puzzles in Red Matter, and like how they all feel like I'm doing something, and they're all sci-fi themed. These are all like medieval gothic kind of dark fantasy. I should say dark fantasy is probably the best way to describe it. Dark fantasy puzzles. Like, they're not just like, oh, it's just a puzzle for the sake of being a puzzle. Everything feels like, you do this and it drops this chandelier on this ghost or whatever it is. And it's just stuff like that I just love, man. And so many things I like about this game. And by the way, it's a $20 game.
Yeah. It's a 3-hour $20 game, and I feel like there's
Immortal Legacy.
I played Immortal Legacy 3 times. I don't feel like I'm going to play this more than once.
I kind of want to play this again, actually.
And so here's the thing: you get to the end of a stage in Witching Tower, and it says there's still a collectible card you didn't get. You want to continue?
Oh yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah,
and I was like, I'm not sure if I love this or if I hate this, because now I've got no reason to go back to the game, because it's basically stopping me saying, go get that card. And it takes a few minutes, it doesn't take very long to find the collectible cards. And you go get it, you move on. Now you've got no reason to ever go back and like replay this thing to find the hidden collectibles. I'm like,
or you could be like me, where you're like,
did you get all of them?
Did I get? I've still got a half an hour left to go.
Okay. I did get all of them.
What happens when you get them all? Trophy or?
You get a trophy. It changes. It upgrades your sword. Your sword turns like golden ring and stuff. Cool. So
we do need to address Sonic's question. What about whips? Are there whips in Witching Tower?
There are whips in it.
Sort of a whip.
Sort of a whip.
It's not really a whip.
I was hoping for.
Yeah,
however, they still made it cool. Like, I loved in the very beginning. Like, I was figuring out the whip. and I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh my god, am I about to Castlevania in this shit?"
I was thinking the same thing.
I know. I was so excited, which you can do in Rec Room, Crescent of the Blood Moon, by the way. But yeah, unfortunately, the whip is more like a mechanic where you grab something and then you pull it, and it does something. It still works well and works great. They have you pulling certain levers to like disengage traps and stuff. They have you pull stuff to like bring down a bunch of bricks onto a skeleton. And yeah, I love the beginning, seeing the skeleton just like plummet to like down the mountain, down the castle or whatever. It was really cool. But just wait till you get to the necromancy part, though. That has
I really want to.
That has a really nice surprise in it that I was like, I really like this.
I will say there's a couple moments where the game just kind of transports you from one place to another. You know, it's like you're at the top of a super crazy tall staircase, and then you walk up to it, and you're like, wow, I'm really high up. And then you walk a little bit forward, and it transports you to the bottom of the staircase, and you're like, oh, well, that just ruined that for me. Like, I don't, how enjoyable is it to walk down a staircase? I don't know. But, like, it sort of killed the immersion for a second there. I was like, I would have much rather if they just let me walk down myself. It's so infrequent, it's almost not worth mentioning, but it's worth mentioning because when it happens, it's kind of stupid.
I've been, as a PlayStation gamer since pretty much near launch, and I'm talking about PlayStation 1, I've never really had that big of a problem with loading screens and stuff, or some kind of break in between when everything in between is like pretty quality.
Well, so
as long as you know that's not what I'm talking about, though, right? You know, this is in between stages. You
got to agree also that Groundhog Day had way too many.
I meant to mention that.
So many goddamn loading screens.
Yeah, Brett,
you're talking about those scenes where
that game is not big enough for it to have that many loading screens.
Yeah. And the way you were talking about, those cool in between scenes where you see the tweet and all the people responding.
Yeah,
there's a loading screen before and after.
I did.
That could have been hiding the loading screens. That should have been hiding the loading screens. Exactly.
I'm glad you mentioned the loading screens in Groundhog Day. Kevgret can sleep easy tonight because he kept mentioning in the chat, and I kept meaning to say
They're
something.
so fucking
and I just forgot. But yeah, but this one. So you're talking about the way that you get to the end of the level, and then it takes you to a new section.
No. I mean, this is in level.
I totally missed it. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't encountered that yet.
It happens a couple times where you're like, I remember the room with the 4 keys that you need to get, right? You start off you start off way high up in that room, and then you walk up to the staircase, and there was a moment where I was like, wow, I am really high up, right? This is and I actually thought that it's going to be fun walking down these stairs because I feel right now like I'm really high up, and then I stepped forward and it just teleported me to the bottom. I was like,
oh, right.
And I actually turned around and tried to go back up the stairs. I was like, and then it wouldn't let me. I was like, damn it.
Right. I mentioned that on stream. Like, it feels really good. You know, you've got the part where you're climbing the bricks and stuff. Or in that room in the library, you climb up these ladders. And then, like, I wanted to jump down and, like, be like, wee, because that's something I always do in these games.
Boom,
it instantly teleports you. Yeah, no, I totally agree. It is a very minor thing in the game. But it's still something that, you know, I enjoy doing, is like sliding down or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that kind of game, really. It's limited in a way. Some people say it looks like Skyrim Light. It's not Skyrim Light. It's a very linear puzzle-solving experience. You go to one place, you have to do one thing, and you continue. It's really good. No, I don't mind. I'm saying that's what it is, though. It's good. And
it's
that kind of stuff
that you have to. It kind of forces you to go in a certain way, a certain direction, and then forces you to figure out how to get out of each room.
For me, it's like a trade-off, because if you do have these scenes where you suddenly teleport, that's lame. But you can also pick up every book on the shelf and throw it at the wall. Right. Pick up every little piece of paper. So, like, it's a balance.
What's the deal with the rolled up parchment that, like, you grab and it kind of sizzles away?
I don't know, but there's also like books you can take and like burn them. I don't know if I found one of the photos from one of those books like that. I might have, but it seemed like it's just kind of just extra interaction stuff. I don't know what you're talking about, where you grab that and it just fades away. I don't get that.
Oh,
But
I had
there
a couple of those too. There's scrolls that if you grab them, they just disappear.
Yeah, and there's
But
like
they don't
hundreds
do
of them
anything
throughout the
though.
game. So I'm
Yeah.
grabbing all of them like I think it's going to do something, you know? Because everything else you can
trophy
pick
or
up,
something.
everything else you can pick up and throw or put it in your inventory. And this,
Just about
and
everything.
these are the only thing that you try to grab them, they sizzle out, and you're like, what is currency? I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what that one is. I think with the books though, because you can hold the books over the candles and they light on fire and burn away. And I think there was a hidden card in one of those, unless it just happened to be in the same spot at the same time.
I'm hoping there's a trophy for grabbing all this shit.
I was thinking that there was going to be a trophy for grabbing. There's like 4 or 5 hidden trophies. I was thinking the exact same thing. Burning the books and grabbing those things might be trophy related.
You didn't check what the hidden trophies were?
I didn't actually, not yet. I know, surprising, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little behind on my trophy game.
Yeah, me too. Trust me.
Uh,
Right on. Yeah, no. So
what's your next platinum, AJ? When
my
are you going
God.
for platinum again?
No idea. Maybe this game. Who knows?
All right.
God, I haven't tried to go for a platinum in so long.
I'm pretty close to the No Man's Sky one though. I should probably.
Holy
try that.
shit!
Right,
Wow.
that's pretty impressive.
I was close to that before VR dropped. Like I almost had that one from like launch day, but yeah, this would be a fun one for sure.
Nice.
I might go after it. I was thinking about it already. Give me an excuse to play it again.
Hey, Texatron, the indoor cat.
Texotron.
Wah, wah, wah.
Texo.
Okay.
$5 donation says, who else wants to fly an attack helicopter in VR? Heart
That
you
sounds
guys.
pretty good.
We heart you too,
I
Texatron.
love you too, Texo.
You know, there is
yeah.
a rumor, or I think it's been confirmed by the guy developing Ultra Wings 2, that there are going to be choppers in Ultra Wings 2.
Nice.
He's posted teaser pictures of like, hey, it's a helicopter.
Are you just calling it Ultra Wings 2? Or because it's just the same developers,
I don't know
right?
what it's called.
Bit
Yeah,
Planet
same
Games.
guys. I don't know what it's going to be called, but I assume Ultra Wings 2. I don't know.
Yeah, they
I
just keep
think,
teasing us with like pictures of new vehicles.
I think
Yeah.
the big winner of the week for me, besides all the updates, all the free updates for all the games, big winner for me this week is definitely Witching Tower.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep, surprisingly good. I definitely want to get a review of that done in the next couple of days. That along with Battlewake, I got to be working on. But I think that kind of does it, guys. The GamesCast Live is running along as it always does. So let's make sure that everybody knows to subscribe to all 3 of these channels here, Without Parole, Davestation, and PSVR Underground. Also, make sure you hit us up on patreon.com/Without Parole Games for $1 or more every month.
I
Sorry.
was so ready for it.
If
No,
you like
I've
what you
been
see.
wanting. I was-
Games?
Sorry.
Games.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Games?
Huecos.
Right.
I wanted to do that so bad.
Also, just to add it to the rest of the stuff here, make sure you click the Discord link in the description. Join our Discord. That is where the conversation happens nonstop, 24/7. I will say it got a little quiet when No Man's Sky came around. Everyone's on different planets.
Except for
and
the
stuff.
No Man's Sky channel.
Seems to be going
That
strong.
channel is popping
Yeah.
all the time.
I'm always in general like that's just where I hang out. I wake up and I just see who's around.
You're going to need to be in the Discord for voting for the 2019 award show.
Yeah.
So definitely join.
Definitely
We got more
worth-
on that soon.
Next week. Holy crap! Is it next week? So next week, Aspire 1 drops, and Aspire 1 is pretty much the
yeah.
cutoff, right? Aspire 1's the cutoff for the 2019 award show.
Oh, am I allowed to say I'm interviewing those guys later tonight?
No.
I haven't eaten anything yet.
Well, it got canceled.
Oh, wait, it got canceled?
Yeah, we'll figure that out later.
Yes.
Okay, never mind then. I take it back. I'm
Probably.
not doing it.
It's not live.
Eat food and chill.
Yes, join our Discord. The link's in the description. Also, keep in mind that if you're local or you want to be local for a couple days, we are having a meetup at Six Flags New England on October 19th. It's going to be awesome. AJ's going to be there. Dave's going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
A ton of Game Cats are going to be there. Dez is going to be there. Michelle's going to be there.
If those are there, I think Killatrix hit me up.
Nice.
Said him and Dopper
nice.
are probably coming.
Kill is
Yeah.
coming. Shit.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
cool.
It's awesome. There's a few people I hope don't show up.
Guy son. It's coming.
No, I want guys in there for sure.
No, definitely.
Yeah. And I think that pretty much does it. Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Cats. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Obviously, we will see you all very, very soon, hopefully, in the Discord. Have a great night.
Oh, yeah.
We love
Oh,
you all.
wait. One last. We got to make one last.
with the
K-Panic, the top 20 game cat with the $1.99 donation says.
I don't know if that's your Batman voice or your Bane voice or what, but you made it sound like his name was Gay Panic.
It did sound like Gay
Instead
Panic.
of Gay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does he say?
I can't. It's so hard to do these voices when I can't hear myself. Damn it.
Gay Panic. You gotta really stress the K.
I was doing my movie voice. I was trying to do the movie trailer guy.
Thank you so much, K Panic. We appreciate it, and we appreciate every
So
single
Uncle Buck
person.
of the Great Outdoors VR.
And just remember, if you give me a dick, I'm gonna grab it.
I'm Brian Paul, and I love you all.
RC Windward, thank you. Cloaked Reaper Games, hello.
Oh my God,
Goodbye.
this is so creepy.
Am I not on my trailer voice?
This is your movie guy voice? Okay, hold on.
All
Let me
right,
try one.
maybe I should try
Let me-
Ash. Maybe Ash is wanting to play today. Mr. Music Gully, the game cat.
Oh my God.
Great
Okay.
tantrum.
This-
Gaison.
this-
Can I try my movie voice? Is that okay?
Okay.
You gotta start with that space shooter game cat and go up.
Oh, I was gonna start with K Panic, but that's okay. Where's Space Shooter? I see him. No, I'm just gonna do K
Oh my
Panic.
God, this is ridiculous.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
over.
It's gonna be over by the time you
That's
start.
fine. Exactly. K Panic, the top 20 game cat. So, Uncle Buck or the Great Outdoors VR. Ass Bear? No, never mind. I can't do that. That was bad. I take it all back.
That was a little Solid
terrible.
Snake. That was a little.
I'll do my David.
Oh,
Hayter.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
David Hayter voice for sure.
I forgot to tell you guys, I'm looking at eaten by
Uncle
dogs
Buck.
today.
Eating your dogs.
No, I almost got eaten by dogs today, man.
Oh, yeah. Tell that story.
I got attacked by dogs today. So I got home, pulled in my driveway, and there was 3 dogs in my front door, probably
Just
messing with
waiting
my
for
dog.
you. Fucking waiting
And
for you.
yeah, and so like I open my door, they all come up to my door, and they're like the sweetest dogs ever. And I'm like, hey, puppies, I love puppies. And so I look at one of their collars, and I look at their collar, I flip it up, and it's got the name and the number and the address. And I was like, oh, sweet. Okay. So I'm like, these are really nice dogs. This is great. So I grab the one by the collar. I keep it with me so that I can have the other 2 come back because they're pack animals. You know, they always roll in a pack. And I looked at its thing. Its name was Banjo. The name was Banjo of the dog. And
What was the
so-
other one? Kazooie?
I was thinking that. Yeah.
no, I don't know. That'd be awesome though. No, it's not that good. But anyway, so I start walking them down, and I call the other 2 using the one that I'm holding. I call the other 2. I'm like, come on, puppies, come on. And I walk them down the street to one of my neighbors way down the road. And I keep calling them, left them voicemail. Still haven't heard back from them, by the way. And so I get to what I assumed was their house because all the dogs stopped and they didn't want to go any further. The one that I was holding by the collar sat down and didn't want to go anywhere else. So I was like, okay. So I walk them over to the front door. All 3 of them get on the front porch and they just start chilling. And I was like, okay, this has to be their house. Of course, I verified that with the mailbox. And I'm like, sweet. So I ring the doorbell because there was a car there. And when I ring the doorbell, the Banjo started fucking growling at me.
They don't
And,
like the doorbell. Dogs hate doorbells, dude.
I know. But so he starts growling at me, and I'm like, whoa. Like, I thought we were friends. I just walked you like half a mile to your home, and I thought everything was cool. And it starts like snapping at me too. And I was like, okay, you know what? So I leave. I just get by the mailbox, and I call them one more time, and I'm like, hey, I return your dogs to your front porch, but they started getting aggressive. So I'm just going to leave them there. Good luck. So I start walking back to my house, and I'm like, okay, dogs, stay. And they're curious. They're being chill though. And I start walking down the road to my house, and then they all start charging me. And I'm like, whoa. And they start growling, snarling, all this stuff. And the Banjo is, of course, like their pack leader. It's got to be the pack leader. It's the oldest one, showing his teeth, going crazy, and whatchamacallit. And so I was sitting there. I started to run, and they started to act like they were gonna like jump at me. So I know, I know enough about dogs and stuff to where I was like, don't move. So I stopped moving. And then like I'm sitting there in the middle of my road, and I've got 3 dogs surrounding me, growling, snarling at me, and I'm just like freaking out. And I'm like, whoa. And eventually, finally, I stopped moving, didn't move, and the garbage truck came, and they just chill out again, and they just go lay down. And I'm like, fuck you, dogs. And I just start walking away. And so Yeah, that was horrible. I was like kind of shooken up when I got home. It was not cool. They were medium-sized dogs. They looked angry.
They were medium-sized dogs.
And I could have taken them if I needed to, but I don't like to hurt animals.
Don't fight dogs.
AJ, can I stop the stream?
You can stop the stream. Everybody, good night. We love you
Good
all.
night, everybody.